Hello, everybody. This is Joseph Music, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live. And we got an outstanding show for you tonight. We're going to begin with one of FEM, Female Empowerment Movement. Join the movement, join FE Movement. Don't forget Courtney Riddle of Renaissance Mama. She'll talk about, well, everything in 2022. And Courtney, a big addition to the Fired Up Network family. Also, don't forget, we got Marty Roberts coming on for a live edition of Maple Leafs Forever, post game edition of Maple Leafs Forever as the Maple Leafs take on the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden in New York. And we have very much, we'll be looking forward to that very, very much there. But let's begin with Courtney Riddle, the Renaissance Mama.
Hi, friends. I'm Courtney. I'm a performer, speaker, and a writer. I'm a mama to three crazy boys and a super sweet dog. I decided 12 years ago that I needed to create a business that worked for me instead of me working for it. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur who may be considered a serial entrepreneur by some, but then I realized that all of my businesses focused on connection, community, and creating an incredible experience. I cannot wait to share with you how to make small but mighty changes in your life to affect your overall well-being and create a life and business you want to get up in the morning for. That's right, my friends. I am the Renaissance Mama. Hi, friends. It's me, Courtney, the Renaissance Mama, and I am so happy to have you here today. Thank you so much for checking out the show. Thank you so much for supporting me, and let's just hop right into it. So I don't know if you were able to check out my last show, but I chatted all about how you can make a year in review for yourself, how it's super important to really take the time to reflect and kind of figure out where you came from, what happened this year, and how you want to build on and move on to next year. But I thought today would be a little bit fun to kind of think about what happened in 2022 in general in the world, and then also share with you some of my favorite episodes that if you haven't had a chance to check out, I think you need to. So first of all, I don't know about all of you guys, but for me, I was a little hesitant going into 2022. I thought, okay, we all know what happened in 2020. 2021 was still a little bit up in the air. And 2022, I was just like excited. I was ready to make big moves. I was ready for good things to happen. I was ready for life to get back to normal. But in the back of my head, and I'm sure so many people were thinking this, we were all wondering what this new normal would look like. And I think we were all a little bit worried that maybe COVID is here to stay forever, or we just didn't know what was going to happen, how life was going to continue on. I don't know if that's how you felt, but that's definitely how I felt. And I feel still like at the end of 2022, still looking at, all the numbers in our hospitals and how COVID is still such a real thing and something to be aware of. It's kind of crazy. I think we still thought like, oh, it's going to be gone. It's gone. But in the back of our minds, we always knew it's around for a while and we have to learn to live with it and adapt and figure out how we can continue with our lives. All right, so let's hop in right to some of the biggest moments of 2022. So of course, one of the biggest moments I had to think of right off the bat was the slap, right? I mean, at the Oscars, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. I think I was with the millions of people who thought it was a sketch. This is fake. This has to be fake. And then, wait a second, is this real? What? Like It was mind-blowing. And I still to this day have to kind of question. I feel like there's two groups of people. There's the people who believe that he did the slap 100% because he was so angry of the rude comments and he just had enough. And then there's the group of people who believe this might have been a publicity stunt. For me, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I feel like he was really angry. He let his emotions kind of take hold of him, and he was really upset by what Chris Rock said. So he slapped him. But I think as soon as he did that, he realized, ooh, that was not a great choice. So then he really stood behind, his reasoning of why he did it to kind of justify it to the world, right? Like if you're defending your wife, you feel like you have some sort of justification. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's kind of what I believe. And then I believe because it became so big and such a huge publicity thing that he kind of had to find a way to sort of save face while still trying to be the good guy that we've always thought Will Smith was. I mean, did you ever think Fresh Prince would go up and slap somebody in the face? I didn't. And of course, when you're talking 2022, you have to think of people who passed away. Celebrities in particular who passed away and really kind of shook things up. For me, for sure, that was Bob Saget. Like, it was shocking. And I think what was more shocking about the whole Bob Saget passing away story was that it seemed a little bit unanswered. It seemed like the story was he fell in his hotel room and then that was it. Like, that hurt my heart. I mean, who didn't love Danny Tanner growing up as a kid? I wish he was my dad. Who didn't? He was such a huge part of so many people's childhood. I remember so many of his lines in Full House. I remember, turning on an episode and knowing exactly what was going to happen, knowing what he was going to say. Remember, his character was such a clean freak. He was always cleaning things and doing things, but at the end of the day, he just cared about his kids and his family. And then, I don't know if you guys knew this, but as a comedian, he actually told really funny and raunchy jokes. So it was always such a funny balance that, like, in real life, he was nothing like the Danny Tanner character. I mean, he was extremely talented, and I believed him the whole time that was who he was. But in real life, he was a really talented comedian. I can't even talk. He was a really talented comedian, and it's always is so upsetting when celebrities die and they die a little bit too young. Another celebrity that we lost this year was Leslie Jordan, another comedian who is hilarious that I remember very well from the TV show Will and Grace. And once again, a very kind of surprising death. You weren't expecting it. I feel like sometimes when we know people are sick, then it doesn't seem as shocking, but this one also was quite surprising. And then, of course, one of the biggest deaths that rocked the whole world was the Queen. And we knew she was getting older. We knew it was going to happen, but I feel like she is one of those people that we thought, who knows? Maybe she'll just keep on going. Maybe she'll just live forever, because it seemed like she had. And she was such a huge part of so many things, so many people's lives, that it was very, very surprising when she passed away. So death is always, unfortunately, something that happens every year, and it's always going to continue to happen every year. But I find it's definitely something when you're looking in that year in review of what happened and what you remembered, it's one of those things for sure. So next thing, who cannot forget? I mean, it's actually really just taking effect now, but Elon Musk buying Twitter. And that, I think we haven't even really seen the beginning of what that whole snowball effect is going to happen. So I have a feeling coming 2023, there's going to be a whole lot more pieces moving, things happening that we're not expecting, because why not? He's Elon Musk. He can do what he wants. So I have a feeling there's going to be some more surprises. There's going to be Big moments happening for sure. Who cannot forget? And I will say, I didn't really hop on this bandwagon, but I've heard so many people did. The Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. Like, it was insane. Some of the stories, some of the memes, a lot of the TikToks that came from that trial. To me, it just seemed like it was one of those situations, kind of like a car accident, that you're like, ooh, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to check it out. But you kind of had to, because it was just so crazy. And some of the things that were coming out of their mouths was just insane, absurd. I don't know. It was a little bit of all of that. I mean, I don't know how they ever were a couple to begin with. It seemed like they were just really brought out the worst in each other, but that might be my opinion. And then who also, if we're talking about other couples, who would possibly imagine that Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck would get back together? Like, you wonder why couples in Hollywood have such a difficult time. Like, how they broke up years ago. They both had so many different relationships. They both have very public relationships. And then they got married in 2022. Like, I don't know if that was something I ever saw coming. It seemed very surprising, but hopefully things are good for them. Who knows? I feel like Hollywood weddings are always a little bit dicey. You never know exactly what's real, what's not, all right? I mean, once again, is this for publicity? Is this an actual thing? Is this, who knows? I mean, we all know how hard regular relationships are. I can't imagine being in the public's eye and having photographers all the time and just craziness. So those poor Hollywood actors have such a hard time in relationships. I know, it seems a little silly, but at the same time, everyone just deserves a little bit of love. They deserve to, be together. Another really kind of funny thing that took over in 2022, and I will say I was for sure a part of this, and then I slowly fizzled out, but it was the Wordle craze. Come on, how many people woke up first thing in the morning, hopped on their phone, and tried to get the Wordle of the day? I will tell you, I still have friends who message me every morning and show me their little Wordle of the day and how many tries they got to get the word. And then there was different versions. There was Quirtle, and then there was a number one, and then there was all these different options. I was doing it for quite a while, and then what happened is my phone actually kind of reset, so it went back to 0, and I was like, well, now I've lost my streak, so I kind of gave up. But like I said, I have some friends that still every day do the Wordle. And actually my favorite part about that now is that they'll give each other hints. So I'm like in a group text message and I see the hints. And I think the hints are probably the best part. Like, they should do a totally different app just about the hints, because some of their hints are absolutely hilarious. But I would love to hear how many of you hopped on the Wordle craze and if you are still doing Wordle. All right, some big movies for 2022. Of course, the actual biggest movie of 2022 was their, not even remake, but was the next version of Top Gun, Maverick. It has been something that people have been talking about for years. So the fact that it was finally here and it was actually good, I think people were so excited. Like, it was amazing. Trust me, I know some of my friends were a huge fan of Top Gun. They actually dressed up as them as a costume this year as well. But they were so excited. They loved the movie. It was so amazing to see. And then, of course, the Marvel movies. We had the newest Doctor Strange one. We had the Wakanda Forever, which also was missing their biggest star, and it still was a huge success. I have a feeling, though, you can't really go wrong with some of those Marvel movies. My kids are huge fans. We watched all of the movies from the beginning, and then I think we did that again as well. There are some of them that are my favorites for sure. There's some I'm not as big of a fan of, but definitely some that I really, really enjoy. And we just love watching them together and like really cheering on some of the characters and watching some of the storylines. So those are just some of the top moments of 2022. But I thought I would share with you some of my, I was going to say best, but maybe it's not even best, some of my favorite episodes of the Renaissance Mama. And I'm going to share how you can listen to them as well, because it's not fair if I just share how awesome these episodes are and then you don't even get to check them out. So all right, so there's a few different ways you can listen to the Renaissance Mama. You could hop on therenaissancemama.com, or you can hop on the FiredUp Network, and I'm in the Femme section of the shows, and you can check out some of these awesome Renaissance Mama episodes. So I thought I would share with you some of the ones that people always chat to me about or ask questions about, or they're like, oh my goodness, Courtney, like, I loved this one. So one of the first ones was actually the first one that I was on Femme Network for, and it was parenting milestones that you don't talk about. And what I did in that episode is I chatted back and forth about some of those parenting milestones that like people don't mention, but they are actually so awesome and so amazing. Just off the top of my head, I remember one of them being, and it still is very true to this day, and if you're in this season of life, you're gonna be like, yes, Courtney, you're right. But it's when your kids can sit in the back seat of the vehicle and do their own seatbelt up. It is a game changer. But what I loved about that episode is not only did I tell you about these parenting milestones that, trust me, when you hit them, you're like, oh, Courtney was right. But it was also, I kind of go through business as well. And like, I made them sound very similar. Like, this is what happens at parenting, and this is what happens with your business. So if you have a business, it definitely applies. If you don't, then you can at least connect with the one. But some of those things were such good memories as a parent, obviously, and such good memories as a business owner. And I really kind of made them sort of line up with each other. So it was a fun episode for both parenting and business. The next episode I have to share with you is called Do You Know Your Superpowers? And it was in this moment that I was so happy with what I was doing. I was doing my podcast, I was working on a project, I was making a digital course, and I felt invincible. And for the first time in a very long time, maybe even forever, that I am finally doing what I should be doing. And I talk in this episode about how I always wanted to be a performer, like for my whole life. It's always what I've loved to do. I love performing. And then I had a family, and I love my family. And for the past 13 years since I've had my son, even before that, I was a performer. And when I had my husband, I had a hard time like leaving him to go travel and perform. I realized I loved performing, pieces of it that I didn't love. And then once I had my family and my kids, I knew I wanted to be such a present parent. I wanted to be the most awesome mom I could be. I wanted to be the mom that like I really wanted as a kid. My mom was great. My mom was amazing, but she wasn't always there. She was very busy. She worked a lot. I wanted to be the mom that was the rock star mom. Like all the games, cheering it on, making the yummy foods, knowing, which friends are coming over for which play dates. I wanted to be that mom. And I was that mom. I love that I'm that mom. But then I was like missing this aspect of my life. So the fact that now I get to perform to you guys, I perform in my speaking engagements, I am performing when I'm creating my digital courses, but I'm also doing it from home. I also don't have to travel around the world. I don't have to audition in front of people. I can connect with people and chat. And probably do more than I actually could have if I was just, memorizing lines, say selling some sort of commercial. I get to do so much more. So that episode is really talking about how you can start honing in on your superpowers and how you start figuring out, are you doing what you should be doing in your life? And if you're not, 2023 could be the year that you figure it out. 2023 could be the year that everything changes for you. You start figuring out what your superpowers are, and then you start doing things that align with those superpowers. And I tell you, you are going to be like, boom, mind blown. You them talk a lot about like superhero analogies in that episode, but you'll see why. It's definitely worth it. Check it out. So the next one I wanted to share, it's a businessy one, but I also think it's really, really important. And it's how do you how do you maintain momentum in a slow season? And I'm very honest with people. Like, I don't do as much work in the summer. The summer is my family time. I focus on them. I want to make summers amazing for them. I still do all my commitments and I'm consistent with the things that I'm supposed to be doing, but I don't take on any huge projects. I'm very aware that in the winter I'm running around like a crazy lady because I have so many projects on the go and I love it, but I also know I can't do that all year long. It's not fair for me. It's not fair for my family. It's not fair for anybody because number one, I'm probably not going to give great quality if I'm just never taking a break. But I also know, once again, I want to make sure they have a really wonderful summer. So summers to me are a little bit slower when it comes to business. But what I've learned over the years is you still have a really good plan to like keep that momentum going. The last thing you want to do is like sit back and relax in the summer and then nothing gets done, right? That's not fair. That's not fair for that whole January to July that you've worked your butt off for, because then come September, you're going to be really upset. So that episode was really great. If that's something you're looking into, is to have, and it doesn't have to be summer. It could be any time that you want to kind of just slow down with your business. Maybe right now, coming up to the holidays, you want to have a really nice holidays with your family. So how do you do that and still keep that momentum with your business? So check that episode out. It's a really good one. The next one is also very much a business one, but it's advertising on a budget. As you know, I am thrifty. And when it comes to business, comes to advertising, I love social media and I love connecting people with really genuine ways, but I don't want to spend tons of money on advertising. So it's a really good episode. If you just want to think of some fun, simple ideas you can take on to possibly advertise your business. Maybe you're just starting out. Maybe you have, spent enough on advertising already. It's a great episode to kind of just, like I said, give you some fun ideas, things you may not have think about, just different ways you can really get out there. It is all about time and consistency though. So if you don't have the time or the time to be consistent, you probably have to pay the money on the advertising. But if you want to save, then that's how you do it. You got to get time, consistency, and a good plan. So check out that episode if that's something you're looking into and you want to check out. Oh, the next one it's definitely more of a personal one, but it was all about how to create your perfect day. And I think this is so important in life because we think we want things. We think we need to do things. We see everybody else's socials and what they're doing. And we hear about this like morning routine you should have. And you hear about like, oh, this is what this person does and it makes them very successful. And this is what that person does and that makes them successful. Oh, and look at the picture of those people and their kids. Oh, they look so happy. Like, I feel like we get super overwhelmed with all the things we think we need to do. And in this episode, I really just kind of peel it back, slow it down, and have you take all the pieces of what you actually want in your perfect day. And if you can make one perfect day, then you can make another. Then you can make another and another and another. And maybe 2023 could be your perfect year. So that was probably a good one. If you want to check that out before you hit New Year's, before you make a resolution, before you make big goals in your life, figure out what your perfect day would look like. Imagine it, smell it, like live it. And then you can start building on from there. Because sometimes we think what our perfect day is going to be or what we want. It might not actually be what you want. So it's really good to just think about it, go through that one step by step. And I would love to hear what some of your perfect days might be. Oh, the next one was one of my favorite interviews. So I usually do an interview every fourth episode. And this one was called Love Your Body. And it was interview with Courtney McCarthy. Yes, another Courtney. I talk all about how I love when there's more than one Courtney. And Courtney McCarthy owns this beautiful, it used to be an in-person studio for women to do Zumba or fitness classes or yoga classes or strength classes, but she's recently changed everything that she does and does an online model, which of course I love, but she also is kind of took a whole step about it back, and she really focuses on how people, women in particular, can love themselves as they are. Love the body that they're in. Love what your body can do. And don't work out because you want to be thinner or you want to be more toned or you want to fit into that outfit, but do it because you love how you feel when you work out. And she actually has a huge, amazing program now that you can work with her and her team. She has an incredible community that you can connect with. But it is a beautiful episode. And I have so many people reach out to me and say how much they love that episode, how they really connected to it, how they really never thought of working out that way. And the fact that once you see Courtney and hear her chatting about it, and then if you check out some of her social media, you'll be like, oh my goodness, this woman is amazing. She does all these fun TikToks that I sometimes am like, oh, I can't believe she did that. But I love that she did it, and she doesn't care because she is that confident in herself and she's that confident in what she believes. So check that one out. It is a good one for sure. The next one, it was a shocking one. It was one called I Have a Teenager, and it was right after my oldest son just turned 13, and it was like, whoo, an eye-opening moment for me. I didn't think it was a big deal. Like, it was one of those things. I did the same thing when he went to kindergarten. I was like, I'm cool. And I was walking him to kindergarten. And then all of a sudden I'm like, like ugly crying, a huge mess. I'm like, I'm not crying. It's fine. You go. You're great. Have a good day. But that's kind of what happened when I realized that all of a sudden I had a teenager in my house. And not only did I have a teenager in my house, but all of what comes next. I actually went to his what's going to be his high school the other day, and they started the presentation with, "Welcome, graduating class of 2027." And I thought in my head, wait a second, no, that seems like it's not. It was shocking to realize not only is he starting high school next year, but 2027, which doesn't seem like that far away, he'll be graduating. So it was an eye-opener for sure. And I chat in that episode some of my memories of being a teenager, some of the things that I kind of wish I knew when I was a teenager. I probably wouldn't have listened to myself because, come on, who would? But definitely things to think about when you have a teenager, maybe you are a teenager, or maybe you deal with a lot of teenagers. But it's a great episode. So if you have one teenager in your house or it's one coming up, I would check that one out. And even if maybe you want to think about yourself as a teenager, it's a good episode to listen to. Oh, the next episode I want to share was one about the must have systems. And I actually talk about must have systems in your house and must have systems in your business because they align. And it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen those people on social media and you're like, man, that mom is so organized, or that dad is so, he does all the things. Like, how do these people do it? They do it because they have systems. They treat their house and home as they do their business. So they have really great systems. So that episode is so good. And I'm still working on really implementing all of those systems so that everybody is working as best as they possibly can, but also to kind of just make life easier, right? Like who doesn't need to make life a little bit easier on all of us? The last one I want to share with you guys, and especially if it's this time of year and you're feeling stressed and you're feeling the overwhelm, I did a really great episode all about navigating the holidays. And once again, it was about being a parent and a business owner, and whether you fit into one or either or both. It is a great episode because I do really give you simple steps, simple strategies to make your holiday season enjoyable. I find this time of year, and even myself, and I do these episodes and I share with you, and then sometimes I go, oh, I need to listen to my own advice. But I find that I really am trying to take this season and enjoy it. I really am trying to make the moments magical because that's what parents do this time of year. And we love seeing our kids' faces light up and we love having all the things happen. But it sometimes is really hard to do. And sometimes I feel like the clock is working against us because we have all these other things we have to do in life, like jobs and commitments and that the mega list of like holiday things that need to get done, sometimes they get pushed down to the bottom of the list. But for me this year, I'm really just focusing on the experiences. All the experiences that we really haven't had the chance to have in the last few years because of COVID, because of all those things. So yes, if you want to check out a really great episode, it's navigating the holidays through parenting and your business. It's a really good one. Like I said, it goes step by step. It gives you a whole bunch of great ideas to really not only survive the holiday season, but to actually really enjoy it and create memories and have a wonderful time. And even with your business, have your business grow and like have a great holiday season rather than just be like, okay, I'm busy with this instead. So it gives you some great things to think about, great steps to take. Well, my friends, that is all for now. I hope you liked my quick little year in review of some of the things that has happened. I kind of really focused on pop culture-ish things, and then I shared with you some of my very favorite episodes. Like I said, you can check them out on the FiredUp Network. You can check them out on therenaissancemama.com. But I want to hear from you too, because this is my favorite part, is connecting with you guys and hearing what are your favorite episodes. What do you want more of? What do you want less of? Like, I am doing this for you, so I want to hear from you. Let me know on my socials. I'm on Instagram at CourtneyRenaissanceMama.com. You can find me everywhere, but I want to hear from you. I want these conversations to go because I know 2023 is just going to be epic. I have a feeling things are going to happen for me. I have so many projects that I'm so excited to share about. I have this huge, fabulous, incredible feeling that it is going to be so good. So I want you and me to have an incredible year together, and I would love to hear what you want to hear more of. Okay, friends, bye for now.
Well, that was Courtney Riddle, the Renaissance Mama. Great to see her. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to her. Big addition to the Fired Up and family. Courtney Riddle, You'll see more of Courtney very, very soon. We'll have a special announcement. Most likely tonight, we'll have an announcement. And you'll see more of Courtney, like I said, very, very soon. Maple Leafs are in Madison Square Garden tonight to take on the New York Rangers. And the Rangers lead by a score of 1-0, leading the Maple Leafs here. All right. Today, a big day in women's hockey. Yes, in women's hockey, Justin Levine, the media relations director for the Toronto Six, as well as he covers ladies hockey, talks about the Women's World Hockey Championship coming to Brampton. Yes, to Brampton, April 5th through April 16th. And we got Taylor Woods, professional hockey player for the Toronto Six, later on in the show, talking about the Toronto Six and everything like that. And kudos to the PHF, Premier Hockey Federation, for doubling the salary for players beginning next year, $1.5 million. Kipling, Marty Roberts, does not get anything unless he gives me a bottle of wine. All right, so here is Justin Levine here talking about the Women's World Hockey Championship. Hey everybody, this is Joseph Pasek and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome back to the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live. Welcome back to the Toronto Six Media. Well, what do you call you? Media, head of media and communications for Toronto Six. Like that name? I just made that up? Good. All right. We had Taylor Woods talk about Toronto Six, but we also, you cover ladies hockey and all that. And big news coming out of the IIHF, the 2023 Women's World Championship will happen in Brampton. First of all, it's Justin Levine, by the way, in case you don't know. Marty Roberts chiming in. Who's that guy? All right. Justin Levine. All right. So why in Brampton?
It's a good question. My understanding is they wanted to be in the GTA somewhere, and they've been trying to get back to Toronto for a couple of years. And for whatever reason, obviously, it seems like Scotiabank Arena was not a feasible opportunity for them to take. Perhaps that's due to NHL scheduling, perhaps it's due to other reasons, but they want to be back in the GTA, and they found a home, which is currently vacated since the Brampton Beasts have left there. Now that will soon be home to a CBL team, but meanwhile, while the facility is emptied, I think they figured, hey, it's a good facility. They can use it, and they're not going to have any scheduling issues. You may as well do it, and that leads them back to Brampton. So it's the first time that they've been back to Toronto in a number of years, and I mean they've been in Canada for the last couple of years. However, going from Nova Scotia to other cities, and it's a good opportunity, and I think that for a lot of these girls who are on that roster, it's going to be a homecoming of sorts for them. So I think there's something really nice about that. And overall, it's a nice touch by Hockey Canada to bring them back there.
All right, so and we touched on this, and you're a member of Toronto Six. The All-Star game from the PHF happens at the Mattamy Center. For those who don't know, the Mattamy Center, formerly Maple Leaf Gardens. Wouldn't that be a nice touch for the World Championships to be played at the Mattamy Center, aka Maple Leaf Gardens? Since we had an All-Star game for PHF, World Championships in Maple Leaf Gardens, because I think Mattamy Center holds more than the Brampton CAA Center, I believe it's called. So, like, I'm just perplexed in Brampton. That's not close to the airport, not close to central downtown and everything. It's just, I'm glad it's in Canada, but in Brampton, I don't know if they could have picked up something big there.
Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing. There's still a youth sports hockey season going on, so I think it would have conflicted with the TMU Bowl, both the women's and men's teams. So I'm going to lean towards that's why they didn't do it, or that's why, at least if let's say it would to happen now, because actually the tournament's being held from April 5th to 16th, and I don't know when the season actually ends. So could the schedule be conflicting? It's very possible. Could there also be other reasons? Absolutely. So, I don't think there's a sufficient reason. Perhaps another reason is because of exam season, where they actually do exams on the ice surface at Mattamy Athletic Center that time of year. So that could definitely be another possibility as to why that wasn't feasible feasible host venue.
And just interesting, like you mentioned, April 5th to 16th. That's the last week of the regular season for National Hockey League, and just starting out the playoffs there. So maybe big thing is to finish off before the Stanley Cup playoffs start there. But Team Canada, you see it there, Sarah Nurse and Marie Philippe Poulin, who won all the awards here and all that, the Wayne Gretzky of ladies hockey and all that. But Canada playing in home surface, big. But of course, we got to talk about United States. Is there anybody else, any other team? Because in women's hockey, Canada, US for last 20 years. I know Finland's coming up there and other countries, but is there any way it's not going to be Canada, US?
Czechia actually has a very strong roster, and they're a very up and coming country in the sport of women's hockey. And we see that with the likes of Denisa Krizova, Dominika Laskova, Denisa Mrazova. There's a lot of talented players on that team who are really giving that country a good reason to root for them and show them that they are a hockey nation, or at least an up and coming one at that. And they proved it at the last Women's World Championship in Denmark. And I think that they're going to continue to make their case this year in Brampton.
All right. So, but you said Czechia, but you're not going to be surprised if it's Canada, US. And I'm going, you're going to feel the rush, right? It says feel the rush. What am I feeling? What am I rushing for? Like, it's in Brampton. A great selling point would be if I'm feeling the rush, go back to Maple Leaf Gardens, Mattamy Center. I'm just going back to that. And somebody better come up with a reason why they're coming to Brampton. I know it's like you said, the CEBL is moving from Hamilton. They're being moved from Hamilton to Brampton, and Brampton's an up and coming place there. And look for also the Toronto Rock, maybe moving to Brampton for next year because they're kicked out of Hamilton there. But Canada, America, are you going to be surprised if Canada loses on home soil?
No, that's been a theme in the past, and you know what? Both teams are incredibly strong. Again, when you're facing a team that has the likes of Kendall Coyne Schofield, among others, there's not much you can do except sit back and be amazed. And it wouldn't be a surprise, but at the same time, Canada has had a perfect run the last year, and that's because of players like Sarah Nurse who make a difference. So if Canada comes back and beats the U.S., which I think is what many expect, just given the golden run the last year or so, that also wouldn't be a surprise. But nonetheless, the two teams that finished at the top are very likely these two hockey nations who have forever been ingrained in the greatest that is not just hockey in general, but women's hockey as well.
All right, just since you're the Toronto Six media communications representative there, we talked to Taylor here also, but how is it going with Toronto Six? That they announced, like I said, the All Star game, the PHF All Star game, Mattamy Center, January 29th, and I hear a little birdie told me that you may have some tickets to give away. Like I know Marty Roberts is climbed. Can you confirm or deny? Is Marty Roberts once and for all Kipling? I want to know if Marty Roberts is Kipling. Kipling. Go ahead.
All allegations denied. But anyways, how are the Toronto Six doing? They're doing very, very well. I believe at this point we are 4-1-1, if I have that correct. They've had a very strong start to the season. At this point, it's very much a new team, a lot of new faces, a lot of adjustment, new head coach and Geraldine Heaney, a hockey legend, and everyone's starting to really gel and understand how each other plays, where they come from, what their experiences are, how that will help to shape this organization moving into the new year. So they're off to a really good start, and they finish against the Buffalo Buttes with a 2-game series that begins tomorrow, and that's outdoors at Buffalo Riverworks. And then it concludes Saturday night at the Northtown Center, home of the Buffalo Buttes, and that will finish the first half of the 2022-23 season.
All right. Well, that Toronto Six doing a great job, and what about the tickets? Come on, what about the tickets?
Please go buy tickets. We're at toronto.universitytickets.com. We've got a really, really, what I think is a really great home experience at Kenland Sports York. And, you know, all we can ask is that you come out and support these women who, they work so tirelessly to be the best they can be all week long, every week. They push themselves to the boundaries, and they've put on quite a show, and they're very deserving to have big crowds. So please come out and support the Toronto Six as we move into the new year for the second half of this year's PHF campaign.
When's the next home game?
Next home game is January 21st when we face the Connecticut Whale.
All right, January 21st, I'll make you a deal. All right, come up, purchase your tickets, and the first 10 people I'm going to the game, by the way, Justin, you're going to give me tickets. First 10 people who come and say hi to me, meet the President of Provinces of Canada, soon to be the Prime Minister of North America, will get a Marty Roberts slight hair from his goatee. His hair from his goatee. Justin, I know you've been asking for it for Christmas, Hanukkah, and all that. I'll get you that. First 10 people who come down to Canline Ice Sports, North York, against the Connecticut Whale, January 21st. Meet me, get a piece of Marty Roberts' goatee, and watch the Toronto Six beat the Connecticut Whale. Guaranteed win day. Guaranteed win day. If I'm wrong, Marty Roberts will have to go to Justin's house and clean up his room there, the washroom and everything like that. How do you like that, Justin?
I'll take it.
You'll take it. All right, Justin, anything else you want to add here? Tell everybody how they get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can get a hold of me on Twitter at JustinLevine_HBS. As always, at the Toronto Six on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Make sure you're following along for the ride. We've had a really fun first half of the season, and preparing for what comes next after what hopefully is a successful end to the first half against the Buffalo Beauts this weekend.
All right, and hopefully, hopefully a very successful weekend. An outdoor game in Buffalo. I don't know the weather in Toronto. You can see it's frightful. The weather outside is frightful, but in Buffalo, it's delightful. Yeah, you like that? Not bad
Well,
for.
they can only hope that it was real. I was there last year at the outdoor game, and it was delightful. So hopefully it subsides and they're able to get in a good hockey game.
Can you confirm or deny the rumor that forget about Marty Roberts as Kipling, that Toronto Star's own, my good personal close friend, Mark Solinsky, is not Kipling?
He is not Kipling.
Thank you. That's Justin Levine. Stay tuned for more great programming here on the Fired Up Network. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you to Justin Levine, and a big Women's World Hockey Championships happening in Brampton. Yes, in Brampton, April 5th to April 16th. Thanks to Justin. More Toronto Six talk later on the show with Taylor Woods here. The Maple Leafs at the end of the first period tied up the game. Bunting scored his 7th of the year, and it's 1-1 at Madison Square Garden in New York. The Maple Leafs and New York Rangers should be interesting to see who comes up big. Mitch Martin, another game with another point. He has 23 now, 23. So let's hope for Mitch Marner continue his streak there for the Maple Leafs, and let's hope the Maple Leafs pull out a victory in this one. Now, you normally see him on Sunday morning, the ultimate fantasy football show, Andy McNamara, but since Sunday, the world is going to be waking up, having some tea, crunch bits, having some croissants, having some cereal, and watching the World Cup final. Argentina against France. Oye, Argentina va a ganar. You like that Spanish, all right? Spanish. I don't know anything of French, even though I'm the president of the provinces of Canada, soon to be the mayor of North America. Andy McNamara quoted, he's going to have a big sign in Cleveland there, the Cleveland Brown Stadium. Joe Pasek, the mayor of North America. But Andy McNamara is back to give you a preview, and this is the game is happening in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It is Thursday Night Football. Andy McNamara, the ultimate fantasy football show right now. Here's Andy McNamara.
It's a special Thursday night football edition of the Ultimate Fantasy Football Show. I'm Andy McNamara. Who's ready for Week 15? Who's ready, folks? Who's ready to go? Who's ready to go? Who's ready for the fantasy football playoffs? Getting ready for another set of best bets coming up. Big game, big weekend. And look, I'm going to answer some of your fantasy football questions, betting questions coming up in the show. But get you ready for Thursday night football. This is a big match. This is a really interesting matchup to me when it comes to the 49ers heading into Seattle to take on the Seahawks. You can get your questions in using hashtag AskAndy on Twitter, at AndyMC81, and at FiredUpNet, of course, as well as on Instagram at AndyMCSports. A little sip of coffee here, folks. Get ready. Nighttime coffee, getting ready to roll. This is going to be a good one. So here's the lines. Okay, I want to look at the betting side of this game first, and then we're going to swing into some DraftKings Showdown DFS contests, and of course, to answer some of your questions for NFL Week 15 that involve this game, because this is the first big step, right? You go with somebody tonight or you don't, it's going to impact your fantasy playoffs. And if you're out of the playoffs, of course, too, it's okay because you still get your DFS, still get your DraftKings and all that good stuff. So all good there. Now, for this matchup, this line keeps moving a little bit because start of the week, it was San Francisco 4-point favorites, 3.5 the other day. Now 3 points moving up to San Francisco. So the money on Seattle creeping up a little bit. And if I'm looking at the DraftKings Sportsbook, this is what jumps out to me. Okay. For 49ers to win by more than 3, and depends on your book, could be 3.5, is minus 105. For the Seahawks to cover that, it's minus 115. So it really depends how you think this one's going to shake out. Do you think it's going to be the Seahawks? You think it's going to be the 49ers? Here's my reasoning for I think you put the money on the Seahawks. And the straight up money line is where I like. Plus 145 for the Seahawks to win outright. Okay, over-under is 43, by the way. Here's the reason. This is if the Seahawks fancy themselves a division winner, it's a must-win. 49ers win this game, they take the division, you're done. Now, the Seahawks could still maybe wrangle into a wildcard spot. Gets a lot more difficult at 7-6, right? To be back to 500, a lot tougher road. Seahawks let that one slip away last week against Carolina. They just slept one. They weren't even there. So now you're at home. You're in Seattle. Remember, folks, between Seattle and Kansas City, they were going back and forth with the Guinness Book of World Record for what the loudest decibel thing, whatever it was for home crowds. You strike early in this game with Geno Smith. You strike early, that crowd's going to be hot. Not that the 49ers can't handle it, but you have Brock Purdy, who's going to be sort of that game time decision. He has an oblique, which is a weird injury, right? You could hurt it any time. Oblique's not like your ankle or knee. This is something you throw it and, oh, there it goes. Could be during the game. And the backup's Josh Johnson. I know the 49ers are built to be QB friendly, but come on. Okay, Josh Johnson should have been on the conveyor belt to the glue factory a long time ago. Not the best. You're now on your third, fourth quarterback option when you get to Josh Johnson. So plus 145. So the Seahawks need to win this game. They're coming off a stinker. They're at home. You got a banged up backup quarterback, and there's no Deebo Samuel for the 49ers. Compare that to the Seahawks, who get their in-season star running back Kenneth Walker back healthy, removed from the injury designation. Huge fantasy-wise. A lot of questions going to be in for Kenneth Walker today, and I got him on one of my teams. Picked him up off of waivers a bunch of weeks ago. Kenneth Walker, play him. Now, Deebo Samuel, out. All right? So with Deebo out, that means Christian McCaffrey, who's also not 100%, don't forget, he'll play through. What that does is it now elevates Brandon Ayuk. So we got Ayuk now, a bit more targets. You got George Kittle. I got a deep, deep sleeper for you too. Okay? Let me get this for you. This is let me preface it by saying this. For your fantasy football playoff, don't do this. Okay? If you're playing a DraftKings contest, DFS, you want to get that contrarian play, whatever, give this a think. That's what I make sure I got. Yeah. Jawan Jennings for the 49ers. 1% ownership going into waiver wire pickups, and his ownership, I think, rose 2 or 3%. Why Jawan Jennings? Jauan Jennings. So like I said, no Debo, Christian not 100%. You have Brandon Ayuk up, George Kittle. So Jennings now slips in underneath to that next level of coverage. Okay. And you might have to rely on him. Now, this is not based on having done it. This is why it's risky. Jawan Jennings has not proven he can do this, but he is a starter. He is next in line on the depth chart. He was getting starting reps on the field quite a bit, and you're going to be thin. You're going to have to look for targets. So a deep sleeper contrarian play, like if you're, to give you an example, if we're looking at the DraftKings showdown contest, and that's where if you're on DraftKings, you go and you have your showdown lineup, which gives your captain spot, which is 1.5 times the salary, but you get 1.5 times the fantasy points to fit in to that $50,000 salary cap. So that's where you have to figure your strategy. Do you go with the top guy who you think to get many points, or do you do contrarian, you spend cheaper and you slide him in? For me, I'm doing Kenneth Walker at 11,400 in my showdown slot. Now, Jawan Jennings, I'm not that bold where I'm going with Jennings. Jennings, $3,600, folks. And it's all flex too. You got 6 roster spots, doesn't matter what the position. You don't have to pick a quarterback, whatever. So Jennings is one of those contrarian plays where if this guy popped, he gets a touchdown, that's the difference. That's how you can win some contests. And super deep dart throw flex, but don't do it in your season long. We look at Brock Purdy. Yeah, looking latest update. It's going to be game time, man. It's going to be, and like I said, those obliques. So let's say you start, let's say he plays, and if a healthy Brock Purdy, I like it. I like it. Guys come in, Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the NFL draft. We know the story. Balled out, playing with house money. Why not? I'd play him. But with that oblique, it makes me question. And so that's where you have to look at, okay, who are some available for, this is for your fantasy football playoffs I'm talking about now. You look at, is it Jared Goff around? Is it Trevor Lawrence around? Even if you're a Baker Mayfield, who would be down on the chart, because even when Baker was humming with the Browns in 2020, he still wasn't a great fantasy option, right? He never really was that good fantasy football quarterback. But he's going to be better than going after somebody else injured. I'm getting a lot of questions on Mike White. But he got those ribs, man. He got Goldberg style speared. Rhino from ECW. Gore! Went down hard. That's another one of those injuries, oblique gore ribs, where you get a hit in game, you're out. You're out. And for Mike White, you got Zach Wilson floating around again as now elevated to the number 2 spot. So if I'm looking back to this Thursday nighter, if I'm looking at a lineup here, Kenneth Walker is going to be my captain. I'm going to put Jawan Jennings in for fun. I'm definitely getting Geno Smith in 10,600. Now, people will say this. Okay, Andy, well, in week 2, when Geno and the Seahawks played the 49ers, Geno Smith only got 7 fantasy points. Okay, that's fine. That was also before Geno Smith was doing anything. Geno Smith started popping in week 3 and went on this journey. Now, that 49ers defense is no joke. The 49ers defense can make you have a bad day. But with a healthy Kenneth Walker, Walker wasn't a part of this thing too back then. You had your hodgepodge running back situation for Seattle. Now you got Walker. So now 49ers, you have to respect the run. You're not playing anybody else on Seattle's backfield, by the way. Travis Homer, nah. Kenneth Walker. So now you got Geno Smith. I would play Geno. Then you look at Tyler Lockett. And up until he was on a 6. Oh, he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he's on a 6-game touchdown streak. A single touchdown, 6 straight weeks. Is that going to continue? That's tough to predict. But you can get Tyler Lockett in for 10,200. He's averaging nice high teens, got a 30-point day in there. Or you could look at DK Metcalf, right? And DK Metcalf's been absolutely buzzing as well. Not as many consistent touchdowns, but 6 on the year, getting you consistent production. I'm going to say for a game like this, I'm going to go with Ty Lockett. I'm just sort of feeling Lockett a little bit more here. Wouldn't hate it with DK Metcalf. And for your playoff, you go with either one. Ayuk is the guy for San Francisco. Okay, so we're going Jawan Jennings on the flyer. We're going Brandon Ayuk. And let's see how much is Christian McCaffrey. And we priced ourselves out of McCaffrey there. So this is a situation where we got to look. All right, $5,400 back. Do I want Tyler Lockett or Christian McCaffrey? I'm actually going to take Lockett out. I'm going to pop McCaffrey in. This is for the DraftKings Showdown lineup. Now I have $4,200 left. Okay, so now I'm looking at this and I'm getting kickers. I could get Robbie Gould. Could get some Jason Myers. Kickers are always a fun little play. Could try to get cute and get Tony Jones, Disley, no, Juszczyk. That fullback, fantasy, outside of Taysom Hill, that guy's fantasy poison. Let's look at Jason Myers here, the kicker. And you can put defenses in as well. I'm going to say, because if we look at old Robbie, who's gotten it more? Yeah, they're both pretty consistent there. You know what? I'm going to say we go with Jason Myers. And we pop that in. Gives me $400 left. So this is my perfect Thursday Night Football DFS DraftKings Showdown lineup. I want to know yours. Pop it in the comment section. On Twitter at AndyMC81. Instagram at AndyMC Sports. Follow at FiredUpNet as well. I got Ken Walker, the third in the captain spot. Jawan Jennings from the 49ers is my dart throw, my deep threat, my contrarian play. Geno Smith at QB. Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and Jason Myers, the kicker. So that's my lineup. What is yours? And remember, Seattle at that plus 145 to win outright. Okay, I'm going to get to a couple questions here from the listeners. All right, we got from at ZigDog954. Great handle. Andy, Geno tonight or roll with Ritter Sunday? Hashtag Ask Andy. I loved Desmond Ritter coming out of college. Loved him. However, this is a rookie's first start. This is a situation where he could catch people by surprise. He's mobile, very smart, very mature. Like the thing that was coming out, like leader, study, like really, this is a mature guy. He's got the size, the look, the arm. I thought he should have gone higher than he did in the draft, but he didn't. So what does that look like? That's a big question if you're going into your fantasy football playoffs and you're a bit desperate. You want to go with Ritter? It could be maybe, maybe not. I would think you'd want to ease him in and not put too much on his plate, or Geno Smith, who's been popping all year against a very good San Francisco defense. In the playoffs, you want to be a little more cautious. Go with Geno Smith. We're going with Geno. Okay, let me get to a couple other questions here, and then we'll book it out of here. Let's see. This from at Matty D613. Andy, need your help. Start Jameson Williams of the Lions or Kenneth Walker for Seattle in the flex. Hashtag Ask Andy. I like Jameson Williams long-term for the Lions, but he caught that touchdown last week. But let's not forget, 2 games back as a rookie off a serious injury, no training camp, and he has 3 targets in 2 games. One of it was a touchdown. That volume you cannot trust. Plus, you have DJ Chark floating around. I love DJ Chark, by the way, for the Lions. If you want a nice pickup, if he's still there. Was available about half of leagues, 45%. You can pick up DJ Chark. Sneaky good volume. You got to go Ken Walker. When healthy, the guy has become a workhorse for Seattle. They're going to have to go to him. You're going to have to go to him. Absolutely. Ken Walker, a no-doubter. An absolute no-doubter. Okay, we got one more. Johnny Miller, 93-93. Andy, Kittle. So for the 49ers, Kittle, Hawkinson, Pittman. I can flex a tight end, full PPR. Who do I bench? Damian Pierce going down sucks. Yeah, Pierce, that was a tough one. You're playing nobody else in that Texans, I'll tell you that. I think too much uncertainty on this short week for the 49ers. I don't hate the Kittle pick, of course, but I like Hawkinson with the Vikings. Man, he has looked good. He has looked really, really good. So I think you go Hawkinson over the Vikings. If you look at what Kittle has done here, injured year, he's really fallen out of that upper echelon. Like, guys, he's got only 1 double-digit fantasy day since week 10. 1. That was a big one against Arizona, but I don't really like it. And he didn't even play against Seattle earlier in the year because he was out injured. So, if you got George Kittle on your team and you don't have those other options, play George Kittle. But if you do have other options, might be worth trying to stay away. At tight end, though, the pickings are super slim. Take him over like a Will Dissly, of course, type of thing. So, all right, people, there you go. Thursday night football, 49ers versus Seahawks. If you have any of the questions leading up to kickoff, get me on Twitter at AndyMC81, hashtag AskAndy at FiredUpNet, and on Instagram at AndyMCSports. Make sure you stay tuned for later on in the week. We're going to talk with Coach Jeff Reinbold, my guy. He coached in the NFL with the Raiders. He coached in the CFL, University of Hawaii, which he's there now. So we'll talk to Jeff Reinbold, get you ready for the rest of NFL Week 15 a bit later on. But otherwise, enjoy 49ers versus Seahawks, and good luck to your fantasy teams.
Thank you, Andy. Of course, that's the ultimate fantasy football show every week here, but a little bit early this week because there's a big game, big football, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern, Argentina versus France. France, the reigning, defending World Cup champions, taking on Argentina. Lionel Messi goes for it all. Lionel Messi wants to capture the Jules Rimet trophy. That's the World Cup trophy. Nobody knows that answer. Come on. All right. 1-1 tie. Just starting the second period between the Rangers and the Maple Leafs. Will be joined also by Taylor Woods of the Toronto Six, our good friend Anthony from Wave Global, and Marty Roberts will chime in here for in about an hour's time for Leafs Forever post game and a little around the majors talk, Major League Baseball. There, it's that time, and if you're in Toronto, the weather outside is frightful, like I said, but here you're sitting back at home. It's so delightful. You probably have some wine, some crackers, watching the Maple Leafs, have me on. I'm the president of provinces of Canada, but I've been now elected to be the prime minister of North America. I'm debating it. That's why I had a haircut. I'm debating it right now. By the way, also for all the Jewish fans out there, happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah begins on Sunday. 8 crazy nights. Me and Adam Sandler are going to be singing. Did you know David Lee Roth is Jewish? Marty Roberts not, but David Lee Roth is Jewish, all right? And Justin Levine, Jewish. Marty Roberts not. All right. So here, big game on Sunday. I brought the big major boys here. The coach, Carmen Asako, and also the Hall of Famer from OSG Sports in Atlanta, John Freeman Nelson. We talk the World Cup. We talk CPL, MLS on the soccer show. Here is Carmen Asako and John Freeman Nelson on the soccer show World Cup 2022 preview. The finals, Argentina and France. Hey everybody, this is Joseph Hasek and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to Fired Up Live, the flagship show of the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the soccer show, a World Cup final preview. And I had to bring the big boy home. Yes, the coach, Carmen Asako, who is so happy. Look at him laughing and everything. And we got the Hall of Famer, John Freeman Nelson, who's picking me up some good Nino D'Aversa food. That's
Nino D'Aversa.
Yeah, Nino D'Aversa. All right, I'm going to go to John first. We're in the final, John. What has surprised you in the World Cup thus far? Your thoughts of the whole tournament thus far.
Well, I like what we've seen from the African nations. Senegal, like what we saw from them. Obviously, like what we saw from Morocco. Now that Morocco has broken the glass ceiling, it means that 11 teams from AFCON will be in the tournament next time. And I like the fact that it's not just all chalk. I like that the Final Four had Croatia in it. I like that the Final Four had Morocco in it because it reminds us all that the margins are closing and it's not just all the big guns anymore. That it is, that it's Argentina and France, but it's also Morocco and Croatia. The balance of the big guns and the guys that can get hot in a tournament because you have a keeper like Livakovic for Croatia, when you have a keeper like Ibu Martinez, who is like one of the all-time Kings talkers of all time. I love that. And when you have from, not that Bono, but when you have Bono from Morocco stand on his head, and I think he's saved like 1/3 of every penalty that he's ever faced, and that kind of stuff for me. And then Hugo Lloris, but that kind of stuff for me, that's what I've enjoyed about this particular tournament, that it's not all chalk, and you can get stars from different places.
First of all, Bono's from Canada. All right, so that's number one. No, number two is we haven't had you all tournament, so we got to talk about the U.S. What did you think of U.S. and what changes will be for 2026 since they're one of the participants hosting the tournament?
Changes per se, I've been a multi-cycle guy, so if there's a change, it might be Berhalter. But you're looking at second youngest roster in the tournament, and all that you're going to see is just these guys who are late teens, early 20s being mid 20s, late 20s. So I don't think you're going to see, you might see some additional personnel that you haven't seen that would be a part of that next wave for 2030 and beyond. But legitimately, it's if it's anything, it's the philosophy up top with Greg Berhalter. I think that your number one goal was to get out of group, and you got out of group, and so that that to me was big. And then if you're clinical with your chances, the way that the bracket opened up, I think that the Americans could have had a chance to make a run in their bracket, but they weren't clinical, still having issues at the striker position. And so, it is what it is. But the biggest thing with this roster, you got out of group. That to me was the biggest thing.
Well, Canada had the worst group. It's like because Croatia made the semifinals. All right, Morocco the semifinals, and Belgium second-ranked team. So Canada, we can't forget about Canada here. Now I'm going to take a little bit of issue with Carmen Asako. All right, John, you continue going to Nino Diversa for me, but Carm, who predicted that Argentina will win? And you said what? You said I said 2-0. What did you say, Carm?
I said, I think 3-1 Croatia.
Can you repeat that again? I'm getting a little bit older here. Can you repeat that again?
I think I said 3-1 Croatia, but I didn't predict the bogus PK. And I didn't.
Yeah. I heard it all. If Maple Leafs would have won, whatever. Again, the president of the provinces of Canada, right? You're wrong. All right. Secondly, what did you predict for the France game?
I think I predicted 2-0 France.
Yes, you were correct. Yeah, I give you that one. But you predicted France and Croatia in the final, correct?
France.
Correct.
All right. Now, I predicted Argentina, France. Can you give John and the millions listening and watching around the world what's the final of the World Cup?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but all everything seems to be pointing to Lionel Messi going out in this little fairy tale. But yeah,
Yes, you're correct. Hold on. You're correct, since I'm the president of the provinces of Canada and elevated by Juan Antonio Samaranch, whoever that guy was. He said, you become the mayor of North America. He called me the mayor of North America. So it is, and I have, John, I have a few juice boxes on Argentina winning it. I had it at the beginning of the tournament. All right. Will you be disappointed, Carm, if Lionel Messi wins it?
no, I won't be disappointed. I'd be happy for him, and it'll have to be a hell of a performance from him. But I mean, again, all my logical thinking, all my pragmaticism points to France. That's that.
Okay, hold on. All your thinking, all your mathematics, all your algebra points to France. All right, Messi, arguably one of the best players ever. Mbappe, like we mentioned last show, right now the best player in the world of football. So
No, not right
you
now.
said it 2 days ago. You said it.
Probably the best, one of the top 3 players who ever played the game. But right now, I hate to say it, I still think Mbappe is the best right now.
That's
Mbappe,
what I just said. That's what I just said, Carm. Listen,
yes,
I know John's getting Nino Diversa, but take away the tacos from your ear. All right? Like, look, that's what I said. One of the greatest players ever versus the best player right now. All right?
oh, it's stealing
That's
my
what I said.
lines. John, that was mine. You can use it. You can use it, Johnny.
All right, listen to me. Listen, John is busy right now. We're getting to John in a second. Carm, all right, Carm. Let's go pragmatical and theoretical and mathematical and all this. Your pick for the World Cup final: Argentina, France.
France.
Why? And the score.
But John,
And if you say
I,
nothing, you
I,
are postponed.
I've got a 50% chance of being wrong, but I think that France is the better team. I think that they pick their moments very well. I think they manage their moments very well. And I don't think that the likes of Otamendi and Martinez can deal with. And wait, there is a possibility that Benzema could come back in and play. Not that he will
What is he,
feature.
John Cena in the Royal Rumble at number 30?
It's true.
It's damn true. It is true that Benzema could come back, but you're saying France will capture the World Cup. What's the score?
3-1. Because
3-1. All right. Now sit back, listen to the king and the Hall of Famer, John Freeman Nelson of OSG Sports. John, go ahead.
2-1. I think I had Argentina and France also in the final. I know I had Argentina.
Think alike, Carm. Great minds think alike.
I know I had Argentina because I had Argentina winning it. I'm going to go 2-1, and obviously I'm not going to change my mind now, but I think Argentina wins it 2-1. I think France can be had at the back, and I think what we've seen from Argentina is 10 guys that want to win it with Messi. And they, do you want to be known as one of the group that disappointed Lionel Messi in his last World Cup? I don't think so. But when you have you've got Alvarez, you've got Enzo Fernandez, you've got Lionel Messi. I think the firepower is there. I think that that France can be exposed defensively at the back, and I'm going to stick with my original pick and go with Argentina winning the World Cup. Nino Diversa or no, Argentina wins the World Cup. I'm sticking with it.
Who wins the best player and Golden Boot and everything like that? Is it Messi? Argentina wins. He's right now in the lead. So go ahead.
I'll say Messi gets 2 assists. I think Alvarez gets a goal, and I think Enzo Fernandez gets a goal.
Okay, I'll go back to you in just a sec, John. Here, Carm. Now we're at the final, and for that matter, let's go to the third place game here. Croatia and Morocco. Who do you got in the third place game?
Croatia.
And what's the score?
3-2.
Okay, John, go ahead.
I'll go Morocco 1-0 because I think that Morocco plays their starters. They want to finish the tournament with the highest possible outcome. And so I'll say that Morocco gets the 1 goal on the board. I think it goes to the extra 30. So it'll go 120 minutes. I think Morocco gets the Duke. I think they finish third. And somebody who's going to be very, very rich very, very soon is going to be Sofiane Amrabat for what he's been doing in this tournament defensively for the Atlas Lions.
So, John, let me ask you this. What can they take from this World Cup to implement it to Canada, America, and Mexico next in 4 years?
Well, Mexico, I think, has more problems than Canada or the United States. I mean, first off, they need a manager. then they're caught in the betweens, kind of like what we've seen with the U.S. women's national team. You have an aging roster, and you're trying to figure out how to replace that group and still keep, and bring younger players along. But it seems like El Tri are afraid to bring younger players up, and they want to ride with all of the older talent, and they ain't scoring any goals, and they're losing, and it's pretty bad. And that's the biggest thing for me is I think Mexico has more problems than anything else, and it's philosophical first and foremost. You've got an aging roster. What are you going to do for 2026 when they're even more aging? What are you going to do after that? So I think that Mexico is in worse shape than Canada is, and I think that they're in worse shape than the United States are. So I think Canada and the United States. I think the biggest question is on the bench. The talent pool is there. For Mexico, it's the bench and the talent pool and the birth certificates. That's like check 1, check 2, check 3 for where El Tri are concerned. I think that Canada and the United States, I think that they're in better shape, logistically when it comes to the next 4 years.
I could see John's almost at Nino Diversa, so I'm gonna go with John, and then we'll let go of John and Karma. I'll ask you a couple final questions. So John here, finally with USA. I don't know if you heard everything that we're gonna have a all women's Canadian soccer league. Has
Yep.
anybody talked
Talked to
about that?
JJ Adams about it at OSG on Soccer Down Here 2 days ago, actually.
Okay, and what was the reaction in the United States about an all Canadian women's soccer league?
Bring it. Great, fantastic. But you've got to look at Diana Matheson and Christine Sinclair making the announcement still without having the express written consent of Canada Soccer, and they just kind of put the cart before the horse and made the announcement. Yeah, you've got sponsors, but you don't have the signing of Canada Soccer as a part and parcel and a partner. So I think that that's the first obstacle that you got to figure out. Yeah, it's great that Vancouver is a part of it, and I think they've got 2 franchises online. But the biggest thing is you got to get Canada Soccer in line with it, or it's just going to be sitting there and it's a great idea, but there's no one behind it, and that's the biggest issue for all of it is making sure that you have financial backing, which is great, getting CIBC and another big sponsor, that's big out of the blocks. But at the second time, Canada Soccer has to sign off on it, and they've got to give the good old-fashioned okey doke, and that's something that's got to get worked on.
All right, Carm, do you have any questions to ask the Hall of Famer?
Where do you learn how to drive? You get his license.
High school.
Making me dizzy.
All right.
That's the beauty of it.
So, John, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you. We'll get you back on Monday to talk about the final, but go ahead. Thanks a lot for this. And Carm, do you want anything from Nino Diverso? John's picking it up.
Yeah, really. Easiest ways on the Twitters, it's Soccer Down Here app available iOS and Android. Me on the Twitters at OSG Nelson. Catch up, boys, after it's all done. Good to talk to you.
All right. Thanks a lot, John.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that's John Freeman Nelson, the Hall of Famer, OSG Sports. Now, we're going to finalize here. Carm, we talked about the ladies soccer, the ladies league, and all that. Any other things that you heard about that? Because John made a great point on not getting it sanctioned.
We talked about that when it was announced. We talked about the kind of premature announcement without consent of CSA, but I think this was a strategic maneuver by Christine and by Diana, like because of all the media they got and all the positive media they got. I mean, they're just basically putting the onus on CSA to say, if you don't do this, imagine the negative reaction that will have. So I thought it was a strategic move by Diana and Christine. And you know what? There's a lot behind the scenes that we don't know about. We talked about Bria Carr-Harris and her kind of being elected as the one to oversee women's professional soccer and to put a viability plan in place. And I think she's still the right person. And I just wish that her and Diana and Christine could come to harmonious kind of working together mentality where this can be successful on all angles and we can get all the political rubbish away. Because I do think that Diana and Christine and Bree and the CSA and CSB will be great partners in developing this. I just hope that politics and rubbish stay out of this whole equation.
All right, and just a side note, we mentioned the Women's World Cup happening in 2023 in June, July. Um, Take us through. We always look Canada, America, and all that, but arguably, is there anybody else that can compete with Canada and America solidly? Like in the men's side, we have 5, 6, 10 countries that arguably you can mention Italy, France, Argentina, Brazil, Netherlands, and all that. How many can you say in the Women's World Cup?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you look at what's happening at the youth levels, the Spanish are dominating the women's side at the youth levels. The Asians, the Japanese are still very strong. I mean, it was Japan and Spain in the final for, I believe, the U17s or the U20s. Sorry, but but the English winning the Euros Cup, they're going to be a dominant force. But I still think that all the experience, all the professional atmospheres, all the professionalism that our Canadian players and the American players are in today will still put them over the hump. But I think that there's going to be some crazy culture shift in the English game, and I think that will translate into the World Cup. I think that the Germans are still very strong. The Spanish are just developing a incredible product of football, and when the athleticism and matches those of the North American teams, or even like some of the South American teams like Brazil, I think it's going to be, I think we're going to see Europe kind of move in and dominate. The U.S. are still physically dominating and technically dominating as well. But the parity's coming, and I see a lot of teams being up there, and we're still grateful for the likes of Kadisha Buchanan and Ashley Lawrence, like pretty much at their peak, still being considered top playing in top leagues and just getting better. So yes, I do think there's the Spanish and the Germans and the English, obviously, and the Brazilians and the Japanese that can challenge the Canadians and the Americans for sure.
All right, so that's the World Cup. But I'm going to ask you a personal question. Your headmaster coach, like Giancarlo says, York University men and ladies, 2026 World Cup here. What changes? Forget about the World Cup. Would you like to see in the group at York University, the CPL, and everything like that? Forget about the World Cup for right now. Where do you think it's going? It's growing in Canada. It's growing like crazy here. But you are the lifeblood. You're teaching. You're coaching. You were just at a soccer showcase there. Okay, you're scouting and scouting and scouting. Where do you think in 4 years? By the way, in 4 years, are you going to have a nicer house? But in 4 years, where do you think it's going to be? Forget about the World Cup right now.
I mean, I think overall everyone's heading in the right direction. The new commissioner Noonan has a grand plan, I think, and I think he's aligned appropriately with the grassroots system. I think he's aligned appropriately with the Canadian Premier League, being Canadian. I think that CSB coming in has to have a bigger impact on the grassroots infrastructure. And right now, like the business side of things, as far as the Canadian soccer scene has been the dominant kind of reasoning or rationale behind every move. The business side of it is kind of getting a lot better and kind of finding a balance and a sort of a positive flow. But they still need to work out a lot of things in infrastructure. They still need to work out a lot of things in gaining trust of the players and the community. I'm not talking about on the field. I'm talking about off the field. So there's a lot of things that Mr. Bontis inherited that he needs to kind of take a long look at, and we need to give him a chance and the support to fix. So those things for me are essential. But the other thing is that is essential is that the CSB and CPL don't get overrun by the economics of the game, because we have a lot to fix at the grassroots level. We have a lot to fix at the high performance level. We have a lot to fix at the amateur adult level. We have a lot to fix, and it can't be dominated by the bottom line, the financial bottom line that seems to be the trend. So we'll see how this works out, because in my estimation and the way this game used to be played and how our national team got built from Ontario Youth Soccer League and other basically leagues that weren't dominated by the economic inequalities, right? We're again, I've mentioned many times that there's so many socioeconomic reasons that kids from the Jane and Finch corridor or kids from Scarborough, those that have so much potential to be our best players, aren't playing or are playing at lower levels because of the money, because of the financial limitations. Can we make this sport into a middle upper class sport? Absolutely. Is it the right thing to do? Absolutely not. And you look at the stories of Tejon and Alfonso Davies and Mark Anthony and Laria, all those kids came from inner city type programs where they didn't have a lot of resources, financial resources. But so I think that we can't close our door to this, and a lot of the infrastructure that exists now, I mean, it's costing kids anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 to play, $5,000 to $7,000 to play soccer for not even a full year. So these are the things that we need to look at. This is and it is called Canadian Soccer Business that took over pretty much, that's supporting the CSA right now. So I will not be put the blinds over my eyes. I understand what that point is I understand that they have to make it economically feasible. But in doing so, we have to realize what got us to this World Cup. Kids that came from the Scarborough inner city areas, Kamal Millers, kids that couldn't afford it, and kids that were supported appropriately. So let's look at that. Let's look at the conceptual whole, and it's going to start with a proper relationship. Number one, between CSA and the Women's League, and now the Canadian Premier League, right? Establishing their stability, but now delving into the grassroots system and making it right. CPL, CSB need to have that structure that's right, and they can't be afraid of words like competition. They can't be afraid of words like elite, because they can't be afraid of words like that, because we need to have those proper levels of the game where all the kids can play and all the kids can compete, but all the kids need to be at playing at their own level as well. And by 15, 16, 17, there will be a separation of players, and it's not to say that players can't get to that. We'll call it elite for now, even though that word is passé. We need to have those levels to look up to.
All right, so a couple final questions with the coach Carmen Osako here. You talk about the CPL, okay? 4 years from now, where are teams going to be? How many more teams are there in the CPL, and where would you put them?
Well, I mean, obviously, the most important spot is Quebec, Montreal area. Even if it is Quebec, like there's great soccer. You mean in Laval, and there's great soccer. Sorry, in Quebec, Quebec City are great spots for this. Obviously, that area needs to be addressed. Obviously, we need some more teams in the GTA. We do need, a team in Mississauga or that area would be fantastic. We don't know York United, where they want to move or what they're doing. There's all kinds of still lots of stuff back and forth about them going to Woodbine to build that stadium and playing out of Woodbine. Could Toronto hold two teams with Toronto? Absolutely. Are there areas in the east? Are there areas in Kingston? We know that Windsor got granted the old Commissioner Callahan has been granted the rights to the Windsor project, which has a lot of great people in that area. So there's a lot of soccer communities. Even further east, like Peterborough came into League One with some incredible owners, and Julian de Guzman has that professional mentality and that professional growth, and he's had the courage to put his money where his mouth is, and is investing in that League One organization, and hopefully he can grow it. Hopefully they have a CPL organization in the coming years as well in Peterborough, or Simcoe County. There's so many markets that are so good, so like Kingston and all these markets that are so strong in the soccer community, that there's like endless opportunities. But the one thing I'm 1,000 am on board with is the patience of what CPL has done. The leadership of their ownership is fantastic. A lot has to do with Bob Young and Scott Mitchell, who have put a great group together, a solid group together. Within the first 4 years, it was going to be the toughest time. We added franchises, and in Ottawa and Vancouver, Langley, and we did lose Edmonton, which is terrible because it's a fantastic soccer market. So there's room to grow. There's room to build, but I think that there needs to be patience, and there needs to be strategic planning, and there needs to be kind of a fiscal kind of reasonability in everything they do.
A better plan. Also, now let me go to MLS. Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver. In 4 years' time, are one of them champions already? Well, TFC already won. In 4 years, either Toronto, Montreal, or Vancouver, and for that matter, maybe another team in Canada in the MLS, but are one of those teams a champion in those 4 year span?
Oh, absolutely, and Montreal did a lot with a little last year, and then they moved on to sell Alistair, they've moved on to sell Kone. So obviously their mentality is to be fiscally responsible, and kind of use the money from selling players to make the business of Montreal or CF Montreal grow. Obviously, Toronto still has that they want to win. They're in a market where they want them to win, and they have incredible financial stability with the Toronto market through their support, through their corporate sponsors, through MLSE. Obviously, it's structure stable, so they're in a position to win. And Bill Manning is one of those that wants to win, and Bob Bradley is a proven winner as well. So these are situations where I think Toronto is best suited to win. And again, Vancouver has practical mentality. They don't want to spend too much on DPs and those type of players. And I hope that their supporters don't get tired being out of the playoffs or just making the playoffs. I think that there's got to be a direction there, a plan there. And I think their supporters may get tired of it. And they're getting competition from the new Vancouver team in the CPL. But Toronto, for me, is still the place where they can win. They can win in 2-3 years for sure, maybe even next year. They're gonna spend the money to bring in Insigne. They're gonna spend the money to bring in Bernadeschi. They're gonna spend the money to bring in the next player. So for me, it makes a lot of sense that Toronto and it is more of a Galacticos mentality where they want to win.
All right. So, final question with the coach Carmen Asako here. We're previewing the World Cup final, Argentina, France. But how will you remember this World Cup before the winner And especially if Messi wins it, or Mbappe, or Argentina, or France, does that change? But how will you remember this World Cup?
The narrative for me has been fantastic. I think that it's been fantastic, but it's what could have happened. That's me. I mean, I was salivating at the possibility in the 16 round of 16 of a Uruguay Brazil, or of a Spain Portugal. All those that didn't happen. I mean, we had marquee game France England for sure. Even in the group stage we had Spain Germany, but all kinds of scenarios that didn't happen were kind of left me. But the story of Morocco and what they've done was just a great narrative, great for Africa, and great for just the entertainment of what happened in Qatar. But I think the football's been great. I think the venues have been great. I think the entertainment value has been great. Aside from the political aspects that aren't great, and everyone and everything that those kind of stories are. Some may call them side stories, and some may call them the main stories. Which I'm leaning to the side that the politics and lack thereof are the main stories. But if we're talking about on the field, I will remember what didn't happen. I will remember. I will remember the great Moroccan, tactical, and I think I'm going to remember a great France team again, with incredible depth, and just a national system built almost as a club team, where these guys come in and they have their roles set, and they know what to do, when to do it, and Duchamp who puts it all together. If Messi wins, it's all going to be about Messi, and I think John was spot on when he said every player on that team is playing for Messi.
Yeah.
And it will be reminiscent of the God bless his soul, the Maradona days, and what Argentina meant to Maradona, and what Maradona meant to Argentina. That's what I'm reminiscing about. So those are the things that will be stuck in my mind.
First of all,
And Canada, sorry.
that's what I want to say. I can't believe you did
Uh,
not mention Canada playing at the World Cup for the first time. You were crying. I know you were crying like a baby the first. He cries when he loses 649. All right. So, look, Canada looking, and honestly, I think we're all Canadians here. I know Spanish, Italian, all the, past and all that, but watching the Canadian national anthem in the grandest stage, if that doesn't touch you, I don't know what will. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that for me was by far the memory that I'm going to keep. And watching the kids that I've been lucky to be a part of some of their lives, just you know, and play with so much pride and play with so much passion. I think that's something that will resonate as well, and grow as time goes by. And when some of those guys come over for a beer or coffee, or when we have our get-togethers with our group, it's going to be something that you're going to feel that specialness that comes from them, but it's also special for us, for all those guys in the trenches that were involved.
You know what's special? And I'm going to say this one time, sit back, because I know you never take credit. This is the one of the best coaches in Canadian. Forget about sports. Forget about soccer. In sports in Canada. Stop, Carmen. I'm going to say this enough. I hear it enough from you and all that. One of the best coaches in Canada for sports, be it soccer, be it anything. Every day, each and every day throughout the World Cup, we've done updates here. Never once, he says, never once, he said, Joe, I don't have time. He has always, and for that matter, John and John Carlo and all that, but this guy's the coach. He coaches the future and still talks about it and still has the passion. And the greatest thing about him, you see him analyze it. You talk about the juice boxes, but he is even a better person. And that's what soccer and life is all about. We look at, it's the holiday season. We look at the Twitch, the guy from Ellen DeGeneres show. You never know what people are dealing with. Okay, and he committed suicide and all that, but not once has he said, Joe, we cannot talk about this. Let's talk about this. He's the coach of the ladies and men soccer. He builds the future. And not many people said this, and I say it all the time, and he's too modest to take it. But Carmen Asako, should be given an award or something because he builds the future of and he's going to build the
So,
future for the
so
2026. The players who are you going to see here at BMO Field in Los Angeles, at SoFi Stadium in Mexico, and all that. He has a hand in the players that are going to be there. Bank on it. Carmen, anything else you want to say?
Nothing, just congratulations to all those CPL players, U Sport players, sorry, that got drafted. You know, hopefully the likes of Chris Campoli get a fair chance to be, because I think he could be a very good star in this league. And Milo Jurcic from York University, congratulations to him. So many, Amir from Toronto Metropolitan University, so many, good players from the area. Anthony White from University of Toronto. You know, it's make sure you prepare well and you do us proud, because there's a lot of U Sport players that have done well in the CPL and and you're representing not only yourselves, but you're representing a whole U Sport institution that prides itself on the work they do. And there's a lot of great coaches there that don't even get half the credit, Joe, that even I do. So I appreciate your praise, but it's undeserved. And there's a
No,
lot
it's
of
very deserved. Look, I
guys.
know you're very modest. Hold on, Carm. We have. I don't want to ask this question. It's from your buddy. A great way to close it out. It's from your buddy. Marty Roberts, who's going to follow here. He wants to know, and this is actually a very good question, but I know your answer already. But I'm still going to ask it. If Messi wins, is he better than Maradona? He won the title. He has scoring. Is he goes down the record books as better than Maradona? Go ahead.
No, he's in the same. If you ask Messi, would you be in the same company as Maradona? I think that would be the best answer. Better than matter. He would be godlike in Argentina. He already is godlike in Argentina. And you know what the best thing about Messi is, he showed a side that was very composed but very passionate, and Maradona was all about that. And Messi has shown a side of passion, a side where he supported Riquelme against Van Gaal in his celebrations. That side of Messi was never something that he saw, but he's not afraid to put it out there. Now he's putting it out there. And if you ask Messi who the best player in the world was, or who the best player ever was, he himself would say Maradona. But being in the same light as a Maradona, it would be just something to pride yourself in.
All right, and that's Carmen Osako. Thank you to the Hall of Famer, OSG Sports own John Freeman Nelson and Giancarlo Lino. Hopefully, we'll be back Sunday or Monday to discuss the World Cup final. But again, I want to personally thank Carmen Osako each and every day. He came on here and we sent up the times and all that. He never says no. This guy he's so modest. People in the world, in soccer, in the sports media. And we're going to ask you one other thing. You're getting famous here with your juice boxes. All right. You like the Miami Dolphins. All right. Shame on you. You like the Miami Dolphins. This Saturday at 8:15 p.m., they play the Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park, New York, Highmark Stadium. It's a blizzard. It's going to be a blizzard in Buffalo. I like Buffalo. Do you want to make some bet here? I pick Buffalo. You pick Miami. You want to make a bet?
Absolutely. I used to play
What should we bet? What should we bet?
Buffalo Blizzard, by the way. Uh, sorry.
I'm not touching that. I know. Listen. Marty Roberts told me you're a wine connoisseur. Is that true?
No, I wish I was, but I'm not. My palate is a Guinness, and that's it.
No,
So
you're Italian. You're a wine connoisseur. Come on. A Guinness. Come on. You're Italian. All right. Listen. Here it is. Here's the bet. I say Buffalo wins. You go with
I,
Miami. If I
I
win, I get 2 of your checks. 2 of them.
Okay.
If you win, I'll go cut your hair. Look at my hair. See, nice, nice. I'll go cut your hair for a month for free.
Sounds good.
All right. So, by the way, show me your check after the show. All right. That's Carmen Asako. Don't need to get him on social media. But again, Carmen, you say France, right?
I say France. I mean, again, the story of Messi and the Cinderella, I would love to see. But I see.
Argentina va ganar 2-0. 2-0. Argentina. Okay. Say
I'll
something. That's right. Say something in Spanish. Come on.
Oh, I can't because it'll be cut from the show because I
All
don't.
right. For Carmen Asako and John Nelson, you've been watching the soccer show. Stay tuned for more great programming. Thanks a lot, Carm.
See you.
That was Carmen Asako and John Freeman Nelson World Cup preview. Me and John pick Argentina. Carmen picks France. Let's see who wins. And by the way, Buffalo's going to destroy Miami in the blizzard. Squish the fish time Saturday night in Buffalo, 8 p.m. or 8:15, whatever. But Buffalo is going to squish the fish this time around. All right, this time around they're going to squish the fish, guaranteed. Now, professional hockey player for the Toronto Six PHF, Taylor Woods. Hey everybody, this is Joseph Basic, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live. Welcome to We the Six with my good, close personal friend, Taylor Woods, here on We the Six to talk about Toronto Six and the PHF All-Star Game coming to Toronto, but not at Canline Ice Sports. Too small, because for an All-Star game, you know what happens, Taylor? Not only is Kipling, Marty Roberts, going to be there, all right, but the president of the provinces of Canada, yes, myself, and I've been nominated. You don't know this. I've been nominated as the Prime Minister of North America. Yes, all right, the Prime Minister of
Ooh.
North America.
I think that's a conflict though when it goes into the All-Star game, because the All-Star game has Team World versus Team US, team versus Team Canada. So, and I know, okay, like Canadian stuff, but like I think that poses a conflict of interest if you're going up for like a salary raise or something that there. So
Do you think I need a salary raise? You know what? Do you want to be the vice president of the provinces of Canada? Never mind. All right, let's get to it. First of all, we'll start about Toronto Six. Toronto have an outdoor game, and you think it's great weather and all that. Look at the weather outside tonight. You're heading to Buffalo right now, just minutes away from heading to Buffalo. Friday an outdoor game, Saturday an indoor game, but Saturday, from what I know, it's going to be a blizzard in Buffalo in time for the Bills to demolish the Miami Dolphins, squish the fish. And now, tell me this: have you played in an outdoor game?
I have actually revisiting memories. It was one of the turning points of our season last year for the worst. But yeah, I've been involved in outdoor games. They're just a blast, right? You're there with teammates, the different experience. You get the different atmosphere, of course, like you're battling the elements and stuff, but it just makes it for that different type of game, and that game that you remember hopefully for 10, 20, 30 years. So yeah, no, I'm very excited, even though the weather's gonna be iffy and stuff. You just sort of play in the elements and just remember it's like, hey, this is sort of what you did when you're younger, just going out there and just having fun and like doing whatever you want. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be looking forward to.
How different is it to play in an outdoor game as opposed to an indoor game? Is there much difference? Once you're on the ice, you're on the ice, or is there like a lot of difference?
A little bit of difference, right? So if you want to talk strategy and stuff, like you sort of have to prepare like just for just different ice conditions, right? So it might be super hard and like that's good. So then the puck slides and stuff, and you might have snow pileups, right? So you have to just be ready for just different puck speed, different puck bounces. And also just in terms of the size, right? The size might be different in the offensive zones, right? Boards might be a little bit wider, so you just got to prepare for that. We're playing at night, so there's not going to be any sun, which is nice, so you could see, and there's no reflections. And then just
the play in general, right? It sort of motivates you a little bit more, sort of gives you that fire as a kid. So the battles are also going to be a little bit more gritty, right? You might see some cool stick handles if you go down into the zone, or like some odd man rushes and stuff, if you can with the ice. But yeah, it's just sort of that youthness will come out, I think, a little bit more.
All right. So, but have you played in like a blizzard? Because they're talking about 15, 20 centimeters in Toronto. That means, in Buffalo, you're going to get 50 centimeters, put it that way, or 2 to 3 or 6 feet. Now, have you played in a blizzard?
Outdoor game in a blizzard, no. But you know what? Calling on the times when I played in Manitoba, like we brought out, like it was -30, -40. You're traveling there. You're traveling like 20 kilometers on the highway, making it to these games. So, and also just bringing like a hair dryer per se, just to warm up your toes, so then you have some feeling, right? So it's those things. It's like, okay, anything that we're going down to Buffalo, I think at least the Manitoba players on our team will be able to deal with and fight through that adversity.
You mentioned hair dryers and all that. What's the funniest thing that you have to pack for an outdoor game when you know it's minus whatever plus snow or whatever? Like, honestly,
Ooh.
Marty Roberts told me he packs hair dryer to put for his ankles or whatever. Come on, you never thought of that, but you have to think of that.
Somewhat. I sort of maybe threw in an extra pair of long johns or something like that, but this time, and I'll drop a little bit of a hint here, but we are doing a themed styled like dress.
What's the theme? Come on, what's the
Oh,
theme?
you should know. You should know. It's very classic. It's the cliche. But yeah, it's like, would I be wearing this in like -2, -3 weather? Probably not. But I'm going to anyway, just because it's a theme.
All right, so you play the Buffalo Buttes, okay? I don't have to tell you. I don't have to. There's somebody who used to play for the Toronto Six who signed a big time deal with the Buffalo Buttes. Now, look. I know you joke around or whatever, but are you gonna grant Michaela Grant Mensa, formerly Rookie of the Year here? Gonna give her like an elbow, a shot, like a stick check? Come on, that's what teammates and all that. All right, come on, you elbow into the ice. Come on, you tell me.
I'm definitely gonna keep like my 100% in punk battles, obviously. But when she comes down, like even like one-on-ones, like we always used to have some fun in practice. So that's just gonna come up again. She knows that I'm a big time defenseman that stops like at least 95% of her plays. So we're just gonna relive that, and I'm gonna have that joy. But yeah, like she's doing her thing with the Buttes, and they're doing, I think, decently well this year. And we're doing our thing with Toronto. We also have Carly Jackson on our team that
Yeah.
we also took from them, and I've talked to her before, and she's like, I'm ready. I haven't been in this situation before, but I know I'm ready. I'm gonna do anything. I'm ready. So it's gonna be cool.
So you mentioned defensive battle and 100% or whatever. I'm going to ask you this, not that I know anything or whatever, but what's have you played forward, and what's for you? Is it more difficult to play defense or more difficult to play forward?
Yeah, so this week I was practicing a little bit of forward, just because we do have one of our national players over playing in the Euro Cup. So just with the 11D 7 forward, or 11 forward 7D, I have a chance to play forward, maybe a little bit D, a little bit of forward. We'll see. It's sort of just
So
going to
you're the
be.
Mitch Marner of the Toronto Six, right?
Oof, that's
Hopefully you go
a
on a
pretty.
23 game point streak there. Come on.
We only play 24 games, so
Yeah,
I'm a little
well,
bit.
you sat out a game. Come on. See? And
Ooh,
wait. I'm going to say this. Marty Roberts came up with the best thing. Taylor, sit back, okay? Last week, Saturday, you did not play, correct?
Yeah, that's
All right.
that's
What
not
was the
that's not
score of
reminding
Saturday's game?
myself. Hmm?
You guys lost Saturday's game, correct?
Yeah, no,
All
it
right.
was hard to watch.
All right. So hold on. Sunday, did you play?
I did play.
All right. Did you win Sunday?
We won Sunday.
All right. So for anybody who's watching Toronto Six here, I know we got millions and millions, and your coach, your assistant coach, the Justin watches, the guy at Wild Wings watch, and everything like that. The key to winning Taylor Woods supposed to be playing defense, offense, goalie. She's going to be the first player in history that played triple threat. That's a triple threat: defense, offense, goalie. All right.
I also bucket list. I do want to score a lefty goal somewhere.
All right.
I
She's
know
going to
someone
score a
has.
lefty goal. But have you tried the left hand there? Come on.
I have. I showed someone. One of my teammates didn't believe me last practice, so I'm like, "Well, give me your stick." Actually, I borrowed another teammate's stick, and I was playing around a little bit. But yeah, I do have a pretty decent shot as a lefty.
Wait a minute. So you're ambidextrous.
Yeah.
So try to spell that out. All right. So left and right. So I want you. Listen to me. I want you to score a goal with your right, and then score a goal with your left, and then midway you're on a breakaway. Midway, change around the stick and try to score that. All right. It's the World Cup. Come on. You're never mind. But have you never have done that? Score it with left, score with right, like in the same game.
In the same, and maybe in a couple of Shenny games, because I just bring both sticks out on the bench, but not in like any high level.
Well, it's about to get high level. You got to do that. Look, 2022 is closing out. You got 2 games left. All right. Let's say in 2023 you do that. That's one of your fired up goals. All right, fired up goals, and we're gonna promote it like crazy when you do that. All right. So let's take us through Buffalo. What kind of adjustment? Because usually you play an outdoor game, and then 12 hours later you got to play an indoor game.
Yep.
That usually doesn't happen. When you play the outdoor game, they give you a day, 2, 3 to relax and then go back indoors. What kind of adjustment for you guys? Because let's face it, the weather tonight is dreadful. Okay, and tomorrow in Buffalo, who knows? But you're playing an outdoor game followed 12, 14 hours later by an indoor game. So what
Yeah,
kind of
it's
adjustment do you have to do?
hockey's hockey, right? So it's just at least we're gonna be a little bit warmer coming in. We always play better during our second games anyway, so it's
And why is
just
that?
I don't know. I guess we just wake up and we just play a little bit harder, but we learn the team a little bit more. But yeah, I think just going into it is just, hey, we have another game. Okay, this is what we need to do. We need to get better at. Okay, now let's go out and execute. So I don't think it's going to be an issue for us.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you outside of hockey here. It's the Christmas season. 1 week before, 10 days now. All right, 10 days before Christmas. What does Taylor Woods want for Christmas?
Wow. This is the first time I've ever thought about that this year or
All
at
right,
all
okay.
during
Here,
this time.
I'll give you a couple minutes. What does Taylor Woods want for Hanukkah? There you go.
Yeah, you know what? I just want to be around people, just have a good time and just have just chill and relax, right? Just sort of just yeah. You
I
can't
know what
really.
I want. I know what Marty Roberts has chimed in here. Marty Roberts, myself, me, and Marty want an actual jersey from
Oh yeah.
Taylor Woods back. You know that you had a week to give us the. Did you make any progress with that?
Well, there's one in my closet and there's one in my dressing room that's there if you guys want it. But
No, no,
um,
hold on. Listen, I'm the president of Provinces Canada, soon to be the Prime Minister of North America. Justin Levine, who was on here, all right, I forgot to ask him. Justin Levine, he's
oh,
the media relations director for the Toronto Six. Do your job. The 2 guys who promoted the Toronto Six, who Taylor Woods is a big fan. You're a big fan of the president, right? You're the big fan of Marty Roberts, right? She wants to give us a Hanukkah Christmas Kriska present. Get the jersey. Marty will take red. I'll take the black one. I know you like the black one better. All right.
so
So
I also have if Marty's Kipling, and you guys said that Kipling didn't have a jersey, but Kipling does have a jersey.
he stole it off Marty Roberts' back. You telling me, or she stole it off Marty?
But
We're gonna have
so
problems.
this next time that we're both on, and this is going to be a question to Marty. What number is Kipling?
What numbers?
Ooh. So
Wait,
yeah, you guys gonna have to tell me
Marty
that.
Roberts. Marty Roberts chiming in here. It depends what bus he's taking because Marty Roberts is a TTC driver. So you got to ask Marty Roberts what bus is he taking.
Oh,
What now? All right, give Marty a hint. You could
give
mention a
that's
famous hockey player.
that's gonna be well. Um. Hmm.
All right, is it in the teens,
No, that's my
in the
hint.
20s?
That's my hint. It's not in the teens.
No, but you got to give more. Then we could go up to 90s, in the 20s.
Exactly. It could be like over. It could even be like 1,000. Right? You've seen mascots with like 1,000 on,
No, we haven't.
right? You've seen like the
All right.
401
So
when you
if
drive in
you
the
answer,
401.
Marty Roberts has chimed in. If you answer this skill testing question correctly, he'll guess. If you get it wrong, you got to tell us. So here is the question: the Raptor, the Toronto Raptor, right? What number
Yes.
does he wear?
Oh, is it 0?
No, wrong. Well, you better start giving us the answer.
Okay, Kipling wears obviously number 6.
Of course, that's number 6. Marty, you know what? Marty Roberts doesn't deserve that. You should know if we're obviously the Toronto 6, he's going to wear number 6, and that's why I hinted at if it's a very famous person. Marty Roberts loves the Pittsburgh Penguins, and you know what? Number 66. There you go. But 95 for the Raptor. That's the year they started.
Ah, got it.
95.
Got you.
And does Winnipeg have a mascot? The Jets. Do they have like an airplane mascot?
Oh, no, they had the Moose. They had Mickey Moose doing double team, double jobs. So, yeah, not sure if he's still there, if they upgraded when they upgraded or changed their jerseys, but that's something that I'll look into.
Mickey Moose. All right. So that's Taylor Woods. Taylor, you're going to go 2-0 this weekend, right? Beat the Buffalo
Yeah.
Bills, right?
Hmm.
And if you don't, I'm gonna call Michaela Grant Mentis, who owes me a favor, who may be replacing Taylor. Never mind, nobody replaces you. But take us through when's the next time you're here in Toronto for Toronto 6.
It will be in the new year, so I believe it is January 8th.
I think
It'll
it's
be
January 21st. Actually, I'm looking
January.
at
Yeah,
January
yeah.
21st. And don't forget, we got to talk just as we close this out. The All Star game, the PHF. What a job by the producer there. You see the logo there and everything like that. All right. The All Star game coming to the Mattamy Center, formerly Maple Leaf Gardens. Now, have you ever played at the Maple Leaf Gardens?
I have. I
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
Now, the, I'm gonna say this. I remember going to Maple Leaf Gardens. The smell is even different. You could see the popcorn and peanuts and like who needs tickets. Is it
Yeah.
different when you go to play at Maple? Even though it's not Maple Leaf Gardens no more, it's they restructured it and everything. But is it? How do you feel when you hit the ice at Maple Leaf Gardens? Know that Stanley Cups 1967 was given on that ice. For that center ice, you know where you have to go? To
Yeah.
Loblaw.
Yep. Yep.
Loblaw.
I had a very interesting time trying to get there my first time, but yeah, no, it's definitely you could just tell, even though it has been renewed a little bit, there's a lot that goes on there. It's a very special place. When you step on that ice, the ice feels good, and you just sort of just you play maybe a little bit better, hopefully, but no, there's a lot of histories there still, so it's going to be cool to host the All-Star game
And
at that spot.
I'm just gonna post the logo. Just it's gonna cut you off for 2 seconds. This is a cool logo there. Look at the logo for the PHF All Star Game here at Toronto's Mattamy Center. Again, Sunday, January 29th, 7 p.m. Look at that logo with the CN Tower there. That's a cool logo there. And I'm gonna tell you, Taylor, yes or no? Are you going to be at the All Star game? Doesn't matter as a player, could be a fan. Are you going to be at the All Star game?
Yeah,
All right.
100%.
Is Marty Kipling Roberts going to be at the All Star game?
You better be.
He bet. You hear that? You want to call him out here? Call him. He's going to be on here after because we're doing the Leafs pregame. You can't do or the Leafs postgame. You can't be on because you're on the way to Buffalo. But you want to say anything to Kipling, Marty Roberts?
he's just going to have a lot of people around him. So he better just make sure that his fists are good and he's smiling a lot. So, yeah, he's just going to have a busy day.
His fists are good? Like,
Well,
what's he
his fist,
doing?
when you give a fist bump, like he's going to have to give a lot of fist bumps.
All right.
So just warm up the shoulder a little bit, right? It has to be soft because they're kids, right? So a little pound.
Don't worry, Marty Roberts. Every time he's in the tub, man, he's in the tub. This guy has been more in the tub. I mean, like, oh my gosh. All right, that's Taylor Woods. Again, the Toronto Six outdoor game against the Buffalo Beauts Friday, indoor game Saturday against the Buffalo Beauts, and then they have a couple of weeks off before the holiday. I'll get you on before the holidays to tell me what you want for Christmas, and whatever you want. Marty Roberts has chimed in and said he's going to give you what you want if you give him a Taylor Woods jersey. Deal?
Sounds good.
All right, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you, Taylor.
You could find me on Twitter at Tay Storm or on Instagram at T Woods Training.
Simply one of the best defensemen in the PHF. That's Taylor Woods. Thanks a lot, Taylor.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you to Taylor Woods. And after this segment, we're going to be joined by Marty Roberts. The Maple Leafs are trailing the New York Rangers in the third period 2-1, and the San Francisco 49ers are leading the Seattle Seahawks 7-0 in the second quarter. Thursday Night Football, as we talked with Andy McNamara. All right, so that's Thursday Night Football, and now last year we had Wave Global on as a major help here. He gave away some of his earphones and earpods. Here is Anthony, the owner of Wave Global. Hey everybody, this is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live, and welcome to my good, close, personal friend, Anthony from Wave Global. We were on here about a year ago, and haven't talked to Anthony in a little while. Let me see. You got older. You got worse looking. You're at least wearing a shirt, not a tank top. Here, how you doing, Anthony?
I'm fantastic, Joe. How are you?
Look outside. I'll tell you how I am. Look outside. You're in the palatial estate of Wave Global. What are you, in Hawaii, Atlanta? Where are you?
I'm just in a comfortable, nice, warm place right now. You know,
All right.
I just don't want.
Like I said, it's been a year since we had you on here and all that. A lot of stuff happening in the electronic world, and Wave is ahead of it, on top of the curve there. Go ahead, tell us what's new with Wave Global.
Well, everything state of the art, best of the best headphones, with true active with 5 mics. The battery life is amazing. Minimum of 40 hours. Did the actual testing of those headphones, and you can get easily 70 hours charging, which is amazing. Our Pro Pods, we've got 6 mics for still clarity communication, and it's just amazing products which will be excellent gifts for Christmas if anyone is interested. And we're just focused on the new year as well with new and innovative products with cutting edge technology just every 6 months to a year. So we're focused on that as well for the 3. But right now we've got amazing products. We've got 4 different colors in the ANC headphones, and we have the Pro Pods, which is 2 colors, pouch, hard cases. We've got everything included with these products. Last but not least is our gaming Pro Pods. We have that as well, but they're amazing. The products retail for $139.99, so they're all under $200.
All right, and for those who don't know, just a couple minutes ago, we had professional hockey player Taylor Woods of the Toronto Six, and here I'll give it to Anthony. Can you tell me what these headphones are? Look. Look hey everybody, this is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the
wearing?
Fired Up
There you
Network.
go.
Welcome to those are Wave Global headphones. The pros wear Wave Global. Yes, you got Taylor Woods, you got our good friend Tracy Murray, Charleston Hughes, Nathan Parrott. The pros wear Wave Global, and Taylor loves them. She tells me, maybe we should throw in one another pair to Taylor for like a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that. But anyways, Wave Global is this. If you want to listen to me. He said 5 mics, and wait a minute, some of your headphones. There's one who has like 11 or 12 speakers in them, right?
Yeah, the Wave Legend, and remember, Wave is spelt with 2 V. So that I wanna make very clear, because them to type in WAVE, it's WAVV Global. No, we have the Shopify store as well. So all they have to do is www WAVE Global, and it takes them right to the store. But the earbuds, they're just crazy good with technology and sound, mic. So you've got crystal clarity for sound. Period.
So that's WAVV, like Victor, WAVV global.com,
Correct.
waveglobal.com. And if you want to wear what the pros wear, check it out. The headphones, the pods, even the gaming pods, everything like that. And Anthony, if there's ever a problem, Anthony is always around. Great customer service, great Wave Global. You'll be riding the wave, but you'll be listening to crystal clear sound. You'll hear the president of the provinces of Canada better. And Anthony, just for you to know, I am running to be the mayor of North America. Do I get your vote?
you,
What's so
you got
funny?
my
Everybody
vote.
say that and everybody laughs. What's so funny?
you, you got my vote, Joe. Here,
I got
I'm gonna give you a big discount because you put me on this show today. Anybody buying will get them 20% off.
All right, hold on. That's the worst promo you've ever done. Here's the president of the provinces of Canada doing a promo, soon to be the mayor of North America. Listen, you heard me and Anthony say the pros wear the headphones, the pods, and everything. Do you want to be like a pro? The mark of a pro is Wave Global. And according to Anthony right now, once you purchase it, what did they have to mention? Fired Up?
Work, and they get 20% off, and I'll give you the promo code for that. Just put JB when they're checking out.
Put which one we did? You cut out a
Just
second.
put
What was it?
just put JB 20.
JB20,
Yeah,
JB20, and you have 20% off Wave
on
Global.
checkout.
You won't get it anywhere else. Great holiday stocking stuffers. Listen, it's Christmas, it's Hanukkah, it's everything. You want the best of the best, the mark of the pro, you get Wave Global. Wave Global headphones, Wave Global pods, gaming pods, everything, and different colors. Different colors. You want it red? Don't you have red, Anthony, right?
Yes, we have the red and black. It's
You
right there
have
on your.
gold, right? You have gold, right?
We have the gold with the actual color is the rose gold highlights.
All right. And you have black, and you have white, and you have red and gold. Any color you want, you got it. So check out waveglobal.com. That's WAVV, like Victor. WAVV global.com. And just mention JB20 and get 20% off when you purchase it on the checkout. Amazing deal. Great stocking stuffer. Great presents. Anthony, by the way, I got to ask you a question. All right. That's how you cut a promo, first of all. I got to ask you a question. What do you want for
Yeah,
Kriska? What do you want for Kriska? Christmas, Hanukkah combined. Kriska.
want to be, know, in your on your show on a regular basis, Joe. That's it. I don't, I just want something simple.
All right, you want something simple. So the pack of Hubba Bubba that I got you last year would work.
Sure.
All
I
right,
was
you're chewing on
I
that, right?
was gonna say really what I wanted, but appropriate for me to say what I really
All
want.
right, it wouldn't be appropriate. So there you go. It's like, I don't talk about. I'm the president of Provinces Canada. I'm the mayor of North America. Come on. All right. So again, check out Wave Global. WAVV. That's Victor Victor. WAVV Global.com. And when you purchase whatever you will purchase, don't forget at checkout do JB20 to get 20% off your purchase. Nobody gives 20% off right at checkout. But Anthony and Wave Global, and I don't have to tell you, the pros wear the stuff. Tracy, Taylor Woods, you saw her. You saw her on the show today wearing the Wave Global headsets. They're amazing. Check it out. And Anthony, every
Shipping is
year,
all included, so they get,
shipping's all included,
shipping
so
is all included.
you could send it to the winner of France Argentina World Cup game.
Arrange anything, Joe. That's
All right.
not a problem.
So listen, I'm gonna listen, Anthony. You don't know this. Oye, Messi, va a ganar. Coge esto. See Spanish, all right? If I knew French, I would speak in French. But look, Messi, of course, running for to see if he could get the World Cup trophy. He will wear Wave Global. But Anthony, let's conclude here with every year technology. You hear about iPhone 14, 15, Samsung 24, or whatever. What do you do, and how complicated is it to update the headphones, the pods every year?
It's not that difficult once you're in that space and you already technology, you know, down packed. Where we have, for example, if the Bluetooth chipset changes to a different version, easy fix. So the version could be 5.0, 5.2, 5.3. Purchase that chipset, and we include it into our products, our latest products, technology out for every product that we promote and we sell. No problem at all.
All right, unbelievable products. Seriously, a good friend of mine, Anthony, the owner of Wave Global. Check it out. We mention it every year, but it's a great. We're basically 10 days away from Christmas, from Hanukkah. Hanukkah ends on Christmas Day, but go out and the prices are unbelievable. And Anthony is here to 20% off it. So honestly, your prices, and I know not because I know you, but your prices match everybody. Why take an Apple product? They're crap. They're crap, and they're worth $500. Your best product is worth half of iPhone's or Apple products. Yeah, you heard it right.
It's
His best. Go ahead.
it's actually 1/3 of the Apple Pro Pods. It's 1/3. But
One
I'm not,
third.
yeah, I'm not knocking Apple at all. For us, we strive on being the
No, no,
best of
no.
the
You don't knock them.
best.
You don't knock them. I'll knock them. Listen, do you know what good? The only thing Apple is good for? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. That's what Apple is good for. I don't listen to music on Pro Pods or Apple or whatever, all right? Because you know what, Anthony, what if they break down? You're in line for hours at the Eden Center, hours in Apple, hours, because this is the holiday season, all right? By the way, Anthony, yeah, ProPod send it to me because I need presents, all right? But anyways, check out waveglobal.com, WAVV, like Victor Victor, global.com. And when you purchase it, at the end, at the checkout, punch in JB20 to get 20% off your purchase. Anthony, any other thing that you want to say here to all the fans?
Well, we would appreciate in building this brand. We're Canadian. It's the only minority owner and founder of in headphones. The support will be greatly appreciated, and we have our customer support here, and we want to provide the best product for the consumer, and we want to have the best service possible for the consumer, with the best pricing for the quality that we offer. So the support we would, that's all I can really ask for. And I appreciate you just getting me on here to help that promotion. We would be indebted to you, Joe.
Aren't you always indebted to me, anyways? All right.
You know,
So, all right, Anthony. That's Wave Global. Check them out. Waveglobal.com. WAVV, like Victor, global.com. And when you purchase it at checkout, do JB 20% off. 20% off your purchase. Great stocking stuff, last minute gift there. And while you're at it, you could get the headsets, the iPods, the gaming pods, PlayStation or Xbox, they need a gaming pod and all that. Check it out, waveglobal.com. Anthony, if I don't
there's
speak to
one
you,
more. There's
yeah.
one more I can add. If it's percent off, but it's on Amazon.ca. All our products. If they want a Boxing Day special right now for $20 off each product, if they but I just gave you a promo code for 20% off our Shopify. They can go there and get the product from there. But if they so choose, go and also order it from Amazon Prime.
All right, so check that out. Waveglobal.com, Amazon Prime, and these you won't be disappointed with the headphones, earpods, gaming pods, everything like that. Great quality, great listening to, and like you mentioned, five speakers and 12 speakers and all that. So check it out, waveglobal.com. Anthony, if I don't talk to you, I'll have a very happy and merry Christmas. The best to you and yours during the holiday season, and I'm still waiting for my Hanukkah present. Thanks a lot, Anthony.
You too. Same to you, Joe, and for all your do, and I thank you and happy holidays to everybody.
Check out waveglobal.com for all the products from Anthony. Anthony, a good friend of mine there, and we're happy that we could help out Anthony again. So we're about 3 minutes left in the third period. The Maple Leafs are losing to the New York Rangers, Madison Square Garden 2-1. Mitch Marner, 23-game point streak on the line in the last 2 minutes. Will be joined by Kipling himself. Yes, Kipling himself, known as Marty Roberts. Hopefully he has my wine. I'm looking outside. The weather outside is, like I said, dreadful, terrible, freezing rain, snow, and everything. I want to be outside, and let's have a toast. Where's Marty Roberts when I need him? Let's have a toast and toast away winter already before it started. It starts December 21st here. Winter solstice coming up, and that means the shortest day of the year. But after the shortest day of the year, you become long again because it builds and builds and builds to the longest day of the year. This is why people come to me, the president of the provinces of Canada, the mayor of North America, the prime minister of North America. I'm trying to give myself more names there. Again, we're about 1 minute left in the third period. The Maple Leafs trail the New York Rangers by a score of 2-1. I'm going to give you some more updates here while we wait for the grizzled young veteran, Marty Roberts. Thursday night football is underway, and the 49ers lead the Seattle Seahawks 7-3, 2 minutes left till halftime. Brock Purdy, 12 of 15, 96 yards, a touchdown. Geno Smith, 9 of 17, 83 yards. Christian McCaffrey, 11 carries, 51 yards. Kenneth Walker, 6 carries, 18 yards. George Kittle, 3 receptions, 39 yards, a touchdown. DK Metcalf, 3 receptions, 28 yards for the Seattle Seahawks. Don't forget, we got three Saturday games in the National Football League, Week 15, 1 p.m. The Colts and Vikings, 4:30 Baltimore and Cleveland, and at 8:15 in front of a blizzard, it is the Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills. Like I talked to Carmen, good friend of Marty Roberts. It's Squish the Fish time, yes. And Marty is going to come on here. I gotta ask Marty a question here. Marty's coming in now, right now. So, Marty, first of all, how you doing?
Not bad. You, Joseph?
I'm doing great. Marty, can you clip like I hear from your beard, because we have a bet here with Carmen Osako. If I lose, which I'm never going to lose, Buffalo's not going to lose to Miami. For he needs a clip from your beard. So what is this? Wait a minute. I asked Marty. I asked Carmen if he's a wine connoisseur. Are you drinking wine?
No, I'm drinking a Frappuccino.
Frappuccino. How much was that?
Too much. Too much.
But are you spending the money that Fired Up Network's giving
I
you?
spend it as fast as you give it to me, Joseph.
Well, that can't be as fast as I
Right?
give it to you, because it's impossible.
I know, because you never give it to me.
All right. Well, let's not talk about giving it to you, giving it to whatever. So we're just about. I think the Maple Leaf game is about closing out. You're watching it. I'm watching it. 40 seconds left. Mitch Marner. The Rangers just scored, so the game's over. All right. Basically, it's 3-1. So good job by the producer here. It's 3-1. Mitch Marner's point streak is done. I'm going to say that is done.
Caputo. It was, I didn't get to watch a lot of the game. I had to go to, it's called a cabaret tonight for my daughter at her school.
Hold on, a cabaret?
Yeah, it's called a cabaret.
Wait a minute, a cabaret? What can you Marty, you got big fans there. I don't have to mention Patricia's a big fan, Carmen's a big fan, John Carlo's a big fan, George Bill is a big fan. So can you do some cabareting, like singing and all that? Cabaret is that
a word? Dancing. It was a Christmas story, some singing. So I went to that, and then I got home to watch the third period of the Leafs game. And truthfully, to me, I don't know how the first couple periods went, but it seemed like it was a pretty slow moving game tonight. There was a total of when I turned it on, it was 16 shots each halfway through the third, and ended up 22-21 for Toronto in shots, 19-8 in hits in favor of the Rangers. And what did we talk about last time with the Leafs? If they could control something, they always had a shot to win, and that was the giveaways. Yep. And tonight they had 29 giveaways. The Rangers had 9. It's awfully tough to win when you're giving away the puck that many times. To the Rangers, they're a good team. Yes, they've struggled starting off here early in the season, but they have a pretty strong team. And to give the puck away that many times, and you know who the leaders were giving the puck away? Marner and Matthews. Marner 6 and Matthews 4 tonight. So you knew Marner was streak was going to end sooner or later. He's had a great run. Matthews, I think, got robbed by, I think it was Panarin that stopped it, was it not?
Yeah.
So they had their chances, but again, a 22-20 in the shots, it's an awful lot of shots for a team that is offensive minded like the Leafs are. But I'll tell you what, over this stretch of them playing so well, something has switched. And it's like they've bought into what Keefe is selling them.
Well, even losing 3-1, it was an empty net goal. So they only gave up 2 goals. Yeah. So the goalies are doing great. And the defense let's give it, the 2 youngsters on the defensive, Liljegren and Sandin, and they brought back Brody now. And I think Jamie Benn was just, or Jordy Benn was off of the IR there. And Morgan Riley has begun skating and all that. But honestly, that defensive structure is fantastic with the Maple Leafs. And who would have thought? He's not coughing the puck away. And that's your boy.
Yep.
You're the biggest fan of Justin Hall. All right. No,
seriously. It'll be interesting to see when Riley comes back. Who are they going to take out of this 6 right now? Because Timmins is playing pretty good since he's come to Toronto.
A steal. First
4 games, 4 assists.
Let's
he's
give it.
blocking
Everybody wants to give it. You want to give it. Everybody wants to give it. Oh, Dubas doesn't know what he's doing. But that is the steal of the century. Like,
right now. It's looking
honestly.
that way. You're right. It is. Like I talked with my good friend William. Yes, the
Yes.
Leafs look good in
How's
regular
his hair
season.
doing? I gotta ask
His
you.
hair,
How's
his
hair
hair
doing?
is nice. His eyebrows are nice. He's looking sharp. He's lost a little bit of tan. I guess he's run out of spray tan, so he's got to go buy some
I
new.
heard he gave it to NR the spray tan a little bit.
Well, maybe Mister Storman has it as well. But the Leafs for the last few years have been pretty solid during the regular season. We'll
Yes.
see what they do in the playoffs. If they play like this, and the way, like I said, the last run they've had here, they've looked really solid. They've done some things. Some guys have stepped up physical wise. So if they can play like that, there's a chance that they at least get out of the first round this year. But I think there's still some things that Dubas might do here once the deadline gets closer to strengthen this team to get a little bit more toughness. Like we've talked before, you got it wouldn't be a bad idea to check in on Vancouver if they fall out of the playoffs with Shen and a couple other guys there that might be available over in
You want
Vancouver.
toughness? How does Minnesota get Ryan Reeves?
Well, and I was sitting there thinking, like, I'm watching the game and I'm like, why is he in a Minnesota uniform? And I said, when the heck did this happen that Reeves got traded from the Rangers to Minnesota? It was, what, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Like, that's a guy you have on your team. No one pushes anyone around when he's on
Especially if
team.
you have Marner, Matthews,
Right.
Nylander, Tavares.
So it's Reeves is a guy that you'd like around. No one's going to mess with you. He can go out there. He can play a little bit too. But he's as tough as they come in NHL. There's no question about it. And I saw a little clip that he wants to get into boxing after his hockey career is done.
I'll be his manager. I'll take 40%.
Right? Yeah, like it's but yeah, the Leafs, eventually they were gonna not get a point, but it was still 2-1 late in the third period where they had every opportunity. And like I said, Matthews got stoned by Panarin of all people after making a pretty nice move to put it in. But, Matthews hasn't had the start to the year that I think he wants. He's on pace, I think, still to have somewhere in the upper 30 goal-wise.
That's pretty good still.
Right? That's still really good. You got friggin' Nylander, who's 90 points plus he's going to average
40 goals.
And 40 goals. Now, here's the question with Nylander. He's got one more year left on his contract. What is he going to want next year when he's talking for a new contract?
I'll tell you.
It's going to be $6.5 million. I'll tell you that.
But it's not going to be a 6-year, $162 million that they give to a pitcher. We'll touch on that.
Yeah.
But as mentioned, Mitch Marner's point streak is done at Michael Jordan. 23 games. Let's give him a clap. 23 for Mitch Marner. Everybody was getting on this guy at the beginning of the year. Marty Roberts wants to get traded. Williams said, oh, yeah, all this. But, let's give it to him. 23 games. He does not have a point. So what's he going to do next game against Washington? By the way, Saturday in Washington, the Maple Leafs next game. What's he going to do? Get 2 points. And let's speak about Washington for a second. We got to give another shout out to Alexander Ovechkin. Boy, do we wish he's Canadian, but whatever.
Yep. He at least plays like one, the toughness and that.
This is why
drops
not
the
your
gloves.
Russian. Nothing against Russian or whatever. Not your typical Russian. Alexander Ovechkin scoring over 800 goals now. He's just about 90-something goals behind Wayne Gretzky. 1 goal, or maybe he's tied him now with Gordie Howe. But
I think he was going to be one. He was one behind, I think, going into tonight. I don't know if he scored tonight or not.
Let's see. Dallas is beating Washington 2-1. I'll tell you. No, Ovechkin has the assist, but Sherry's has the goal. So it's 2-1 Dallas. Ovechkin has the assist on that one. So there you go. Maple Leafs, Washington, Saturday. Hopefully another big game for the Maple Leafs. And Maple Leafs, next week, by the way, Tuesday, Tampa's here. Thursday, Philadelphia's here, and it's the kids game. It's at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. on the Thursday, and then they have till Tuesday. They go out to St. Louis. So only 2 games next week, but it's big. Tampa at 7 o'clock and Philadelphia Thursday at 2 p.m. Marty Roberts, are you off? I'm going to get you those tickets to go to the
I can't. You know what? Thursday, I'm out of commission. Thursday, I went to the good old dentist today, and have to go for a root canal on Thursday.
A root canal.
Root canal.
Marty, some guy named William says open the mouth, but he opens the mouth too much. So that's the problem here. All right.
Well, here the option was root canal or they'll take the tooth out, and I said, well, if you take the
Take
tooth
the
out,
tooth out. What are you living with a root canal?
Well, and I said it's going to be awfully tough for me to chew steak if I don't have that tooth. So root canal it is.
To choose, that's Marty Roberts, the steak connoisseur. Marty, since we had Carmen on here, he actually has texted me, asked Marty who his pick for the World Cup final is.
You know what? I'm gonna go with France.
You're wrong.
I'm going with France. I've been wrong all this whole time, so it wouldn't surprise me.
But Marty, you know everything about soccer. You think does.
Argentina is gonna bring him his final World Cup, his championship?
Yes.
I don't think so.
All right, you don't think so.
When did France last win it? Like 3 World Cups ago? 98. It's been that long.
Well, they won 1998 and 2018, 4 years ago. So they're the reigning, defending World Cup champions.
That's awfully tough to do, to be
so
back
they could
to
go
back.
back to back, basically.
Yeah, that's awfully tough to do, to be back to back. Maybe Argentina should just lock the France team in their hotel room and they got a better shot.
Argentina 2, France 0. Not nothing.
Hey, it's gonna go to penalty kicks in the final of the World Cup to decide the winner. It's going to penalty kicks instead of letting it play out.
Well, you like playing out. First of all, another question by Carm. Marty Roberts knows everything about soccer, but he wants to know, Drew Ebanks, Marty Roberts, who knows better about balls? So go ahead. That's from Carmen.
Does Drew Ebanks know about balls? Bouncing balls. Big leather balls.
I'm not going there. Leave your balls alone, Marty. Leave your balls alone. All right. So let's. Anything else in the National Hockey League?
Hey, look at the Pittsburgh Penguins are up 3-2 on the Florida Panthers late in the game. Minute left. You know, they've had 36 shots. Florida has 34 shots. 4-2 now. Pittsburgh just scored an empty net. You know, Sidney Crosby's on pace to have 40 plus goals and 110 points. This guy's 35 years old?
Yeah.
And here he is going to have one of his best years of his career at 35 or whatever age he is. You know, and then you know, I thought he was going to be out longer than this. Letang's back. I think this is his second game back tonight, and he has a goal and I believe either assists or 2 assists tonight.
Yeah, and by the way, if people in Toronto are interested, the Kings and Bruins are in overtime tied.
No one's interested in that. Who cares about the Kings and the Bruins?
Bruins, Boston. Everybody loves Boston and Toronto.
No one loves Boston. No one loves Boston.
And you talk about Florida losing right now to your Penguins. Florida, you know, they made that trade, and last year they were the best team in the league, and now this year it's like, you know, would you do that trade
Huberdeau, when they got rid of him, he's a playmaker, right? Like, yes, Tkachuk, I think, is leading that team in points, I think. I haven't looked lately, but you have a guy like Huberdeau who sets everyone up and does what's supposed to be needed. And doesn't, you know, he was so underrated or underlooked there. You know, I think they're missing that. And, you know, their goal, I've always said their goaltending, I think Bobrovsky's in net tonight. You know, he's not the best there. He's having a good night tonight, but they're paying him $11 million to be a subpar goalie. So Florida has some issues.
By the way,
Penguins are rolling. The Penguins are rolling. I think they're either second now.
They're rolling. Big deal. But you want to talk about Sidney Crosby? And 35 years old, on pace to have his best scoring year. But what about Connor McDavid, man? He's like, you talk about he's the best player in hockey, but now he's
there's no question. Like, yes, last year Matthews probably had the better year, but McDavid does a year in and year out. Like you cannot stop this guy. He can go from one end to the other, and you're not stopping him. Like it seems almost every time he scores, it's a highlight
Highlight goal,
real
yeah.
goal. Like it's insane. I think he had 8 straight goals. At one point there, eight games in a row he scored. The only
He
problem
has a
with
better
Edmonton,
1-2 punch. Edmonton has the amazing 1-2 punch, but they can never. How do you like to be Jack Campbell? You got Leon Draisaitl and McDavid there, and they don't do anything. At least they make it out of first round. But come on, you're wasting
that's
away
always
the
been
good
the
years.
problem, right? With Edmonton is their defensive side, and it starts with their goalie. Their goaltending isn't very good, and anyone who thought that Campbell was going to be the savior was really mistaken, because I was glad that they didn't re-sign him in Toronto, because you're not going to pay that guy $5.5 $6 million when he had an all right year last year, but he went for a little downside for 2 months there, and he's just not a guy that is a bona fide number one goalie. And so far, I think Samsonov's leading the league in almost every category.
Oh, hold on, Marty. Taylor Woods has just texted me, and Taylor wants to know. Ask Marty, what's your number on Kipling? What's Kipling's number? If you're Kipling from the Toronto 6 mascot, so we talked about this on the show. Do you know what Kipling number is?
I'm not giving her my phone number.
She does not want your phone number. She doesn't need your phone number. She could bench press you, body slam you, pole drive you, suplex you. Come on. If you watched did you watch the show? You're on this show.
Yes, I watched it, and Taylor said I should be at the All-Star game as Kipling. I'm going to have lots of people there. I'm going to be smiling a lot there.
Yes, by the way, we should talk about that. The All-Star game for the PHF Premier Hockey Federation at the Mattamy Center, formerly Maple Leaf Gardens, January 29th, 7 p.m. Marty Roberts will be there as Kipling. By the way, he doesn't know what Kipling's number is. It's number 6. He's the 6. Come on.
I knew that. You didn't let me answer.
All right. What's the Raptors number?
I don't care.
All right.
I'm the Kipling mascot. I'm the Toronto 6 mascot.
All right. So honestly,
my eyelashes tell the story.
Never mind about that. But another big story that we touched on with Justin and with Taylor was the PHF doubling their salary from $750,000 to $1.5 million.
Yeah.
All right, that's big news for the PHF.
Yeah, that's huge news. And you've looked at it, like last year, it was half of that. So they've gone up, almost what we'll call it.
2 years, and don't forget, last year was a COVID year.
Yeah. So that's good for them. That's good that they're getting it. Now, if they can just get the TSN and the Sportsnet on board on this side of the border to show the games regularly, instead of having to find a feed for ESPN.
Forget PSN and Sportsnet and all that. You want to show it? Show it on the FiredUp Network. FiredUp Network. Name another network that covers the PHF that we talk. We got the mascot of the Toronto 6 on. We got
it's all nice that TSN Sportsnet are adding females to their broadcast. But how about you put the sports on as well? How about you put the women's hockey on? How about you put the women's basketball on? How about you put the women's soccer on, instead of showing it elsewhere that we have to go and watch, stream it somewhere else? Put it on here so we can watch, and I don't have to go looking all over the place to watch the game when it's on ESPN like 19 in the States.
So you mean when somebody said it was on TSN, it wasn't on TSN?
It was not on TSN, no. I searched high and low on TSN. It was not on TSN. I'm not going to say who it was, Justin. I'm not going to say who it was. But
who was it? You're not going to say
Justin. Who it was? Justin. But it was not on. But hopefully that with this being increased, it's becoming more and more popular every time it's out on the ice.
Here's another problem, Marty. Sorry. Here's another problem. Did you know we touched with Taylor? The Toronto 6 plays an outdoor game tomorrow in Buffalo. Could be a blizzard. And where is it being played? It's not on TSN. It's not on Sportsnet. Hell, I don't even know if it's on ESPN. It's an outdoor game. And
I mean, yes, they'll be
Blizzard.
showing on Twitch or something like that.
Well, we're on Twitch also.
Right. But it's just, it's sad. I like to know the All-Star game in Toronto. Where are they holding it at? Do you guys know?
Mattamy Center.
The Mattamy Center.
Yeah, formerly Maple Leaf Gardens.
So that, and I've had this discussion with you.
And it's on TSN, by the way.
No, but I've had this discussion with you that if they want to take this Toronto 6 bigger, they have to get out of York University. And I said,
hold on here.
And I said, Maple Leaf Gardens is the place to be. So if they feel comfortable enough of putting the All-Star game there, why did they not move the whole Toronto 6 season there?
They want to showcase Toronto. But here's the other problem, which we broke the story here today with Justin. The Women's World Hockey Championship, the IIHF, International Ice Hockey Federation, having the Women's World Championship in Canada, specifically here, but not at the Mattamy Center, April 5th to April 16th, in Brampton. You have a World Championship in Brampton. When
at least Brampton has a rink that they can play it in. That's the good thing there. That the old Battalion rink, that's where they'll play it out of, which holds 4, 5, 6,000 people. At least it's a rink, and they have other rinks attached to that rink. So the main rink will be used, and then they'll use the other rinks to play the other games at the same time instead of being the main rink going on. So there's like 4 or 5 rinks going on there, plus the Battalion's rink. So that's not a bad idea with that, because if you held it anywhere else, say you wanted to do it in Mississauga, there's only one rink.
Why did you hold it at Mattamy Center?
Because there's only one rink, right?
Yeah,
they're going to have more games going off at the same time.
3 games a day.
Yeah, okay, but this way they could start, because they're going to start the games at 8 in the morning.
2, 5, and 8.
Nah, that's cutting it close with getting people out and getting them back in, so they can do the smaller type games on the other rinks in Brampton. It's big enough to hold that beam there. The only reason why Battalion got left there is because no one used to go to the games there. No one used to go to the games. I went a couple times because I'm friends with Stan Butler, and I used to go watch it there. And even in the playoffs, no one went to the games in Brampton. And heck, Mississauga was just down the road. And Brampton's been gone for 3 years now, I think it is. They're up in North Bay.
Yeah.
Mississauga still doesn't get any people at their games.
No. That's the problem with, we talked about this all the time. It's Toronto. They say Toronto's the hockey mecca and all that. Is it a hockey mecca or is it a Maple Leaf town?
No, it is. Toronto is a major sports town, as in MLB, NHL, NFL, and NBA.
MLS.
If you got those 4, they sell out.
30,000.
What's that?
Major League Soccer's got 30,000 a game.
Right. That's their main things. The CFL is never gonna, sell out 40, 50,000. The OHL teams that are around there are not gonna sell out because of that's why the OHL thrives in small towns.
In Barrie.
Right? Barrie, Owen Sound, Windsor, places
Oshawa.
like that, Oshawa, Peterborough,
Kitchener.
places like that. That is small
London.
towns that love going to these games. And truthfully, up to a few years ago, I'd rather go and watch an OHL game than an NHL game.
You said up to a few years ago, then so has changed?
It has, only because I don't like the way the game is played as much in the OHL. It's the I like the physicalness. I like the hitting of the games. I don't necessarily need to see fighting, but I want to see some physical play. I don't want to see guys that get to go around everyone on the ice and not get touched. So I like watching physical play, and that's what's lacking nowadays. And that's all because of how, I guess, the NHL and the pro leagues are going. They're not doing that as much anymore. So you're getting more guys that are fast, but there's not as much contact happening. You saw what happened. It's still games still have physical play in it. And if you saw the other night, I think it was Ryan Reeves hit someone coming across the center of the ice with his head down. Those types of play. Cole Caulfield got it the other night too.
Yeah.
those plays are still, and that's what happens. These guys get comfortable skating across the center of the ice with their head down, and they get flattened, and everyone's arms are all up. Oh, that was a dirty hit. No, it was his shoulder right into his chest. Nothing dirty about it. But guys get comfortable now without playing with their head up, keeping their head down. You know, a guy like Reeves is going to bury you.
That's right. So now let's go to around the majors with Major League Baseball. Like we mentioned, Marty, we were talking about this guy would look good in a Blue Jay uniform, but
Yeah.
forget about that. The Blue Jay for 162 million for 6 years. The Blue Jays, no chance signing it. The Yankees again signing. And a good lefty Yankees rotation there, and of course they signed Aaron Judge. What do you think of that? With the
You know,
Yankees?
Rodon, it's funny because Rodon won it 8 years and like $200 million.
Yeah.
Now he's settled for the 6 years and 162 million, so $27 million a year. You know, he's a good pitcher when he's healthy. There's no question about it. Like if he stays healthy, he fits nicely behind Garrett Cole in that rotation. Extremely nice. Like you look at his last 2 years, he's had like a 2.37 and I think like a 2.88 ERA over the last 2 years. His whip is very low. He strikes out a lot of guys. If he can stay healthy, that is such a big add for the New York Yankees. But that's a big if he can stay healthy. That's a lot of money too. You know how the Yankee fans are. You start doing bad, they just start booing you. So can Rodon handle that? I don't know if he can, but you look at that. Like we were talking the other day when the Jays signed Bassett, we're like, wow, the Jays could have one of the top rotations for their first three guys in the league. Now you look, well, the Yankees now have Cole, Rodon, Cortez, and their fourth guy, Severino.
Yeah.
Right? You got.
I'm telling you, Yankees have a better rotation.
Well, and you got Seattle has Ray, Castilla, Kirby, and I'm drawing a blank on the other kid's name. Then Texas, you go to DeGrom, Perez, Haney. So there's some good teams now that have some good starting pitching. The problem with the Jays right now is they have the starters. Barrios bounces back. That's a top four they got. They really haven't addressed the bullpen issue. Yes, they traded and got Swanson. That's nice. But they still need a minimum another arm there. And if it's all correct to what Kiermaier said today,
yes,
that he is the starting center fielder for the Jays, and it's his job to lose. We just lost 30 and 90 RBIs. We haven't picked it up. So, you know what I thought about the deal when it first came, and the reason why I thought that is because I thought he was going to be the starting center fielder. And then a couple of people talked me into, no, he's going to be the fourth outfielder. Well, guess what? I was right.
Those people who talked you out of them, was it Stephen Williams?
No, but he's a nice fourth outfielder, yes, for defensive purposes, get in there every now and then, but he's a 240 lifetime hitter. He hits more balls to second base than everyone, and he's coming off a hip surgery, which obviously passed the physical. But I just, if that's your starting center fielder, you now have an outfield of Springer, Kiermaier, and Gurriel. Okay, not bad defensively, but you still haven't filled Hernandez. You have to hope that.
Who's your fourth?
Your fourth. I'm gonna guess that they're gonna sign Tapia back, maybe, or maybe they do surprise us and they sign Conforto and they put him as a DH and then rotate through the outfield to give everyone a break. That wouldn't surprise me either. But they have to somehow find. If not, you have to hope that Merrifield and Gurriel have bigger years than what they had last year.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right, and you have to hope that Kirk has the year that he had last year.
Let's talk about somebody who signed much like your contract, 13 years. over $350 million,
Yeah.
and now nobody's worth money like that. Okay,
No.
but Korea, um,
Carrera.
Carrera, yeah, is he worth that?
Out of all the shortstops that signed, that's the guy I would have got first.
Yeah, but for
No
three
one's
hundred
worth that
fifty
money.
million.
No one's worth that money. Like Judge isn't worth 360 either. But that's what the going rate is right now. That's what everyone's paying him. You knew that San Francisco was a little bit hurt from losing out on Judge, losing out on a couple other
Yeah, but they
guys
got
that
Stripling.
and they got and that's another thing. Stripling is an okay pitcher. All right. He had a good year. Would I want to sign him for a $25 million 2-year contract? No, I would not. And
But like you
there's
said,
so
that's the going rate.
right, but there's so many Jay fans that are upset that the Jays let Stripling go and sign Bassett. It's mind-boggling as to why you'd be upset by that. If you remember Stripling too, a couple times, and the guy's drawn a blank on who was playing third base, but I remember him yelling at the third baseman after he made a play, asking him why. Why would you throw that? Why would you throw that? And he did it again last year. This is not a guy that, to me, when the camera's on him, he might be that team guy. But when he gets caught every now and then, it's not a guy I want around. I really don't. He's not. It's nothing spectacular that he offers.
Hold
And
on,
to spend,
Marty. Wait, I just have breaking news, and it's bad for the Fired Up Network family and Fem Network. Shauna Brown, my condolences go out to Shauna Brown. She just left us a message here. Her mother passed away today. Her mother passed away today. That's Shauna Brown. And Shauna's a big part of the Fired Up Network and family. Condolences go out to Shauna's friends, family, and during the holiday season, always really, really hard to take. Again, condolences to Shauna Brown. You'll see Shauna Brown on Fam and Fired Up, and I was going to reveal this at the end of the show, but we have something special coming from the ladies of Fam here, a sort of Christmas holiday special concert. Will be debuting it next week, but Shauna Brown, condolences to friends and family. Her mother passed away. Sorry, Mari. I thought that was a little bit of breaking news there, and I know she's part of the team, Marty. So anything you want to say there, also.
oh yeah, no condolences to her and her family and her daughter. It's obviously it's terrible at this time of year too, right? To lose someone. There's never a good time, but this is a bad time to that. So my condolences to her.
Yeah, sorry, and sorry. I know it sort of breaks up what we talked about and all that, but we'll continue on here for about 2 minutes, and then I'll see. I'll do my due diligence and try to reach out to her. But and Marty, any other thing that you want to talk about? We talked about free agency and we talked about trades, and the money is flowing in Major League Baseball like crazy. But go ahead, Marty.
Yeah, you're right. It is like you look at the New York Mets and the owner there, Cohen. Their payroll somewhere around $360 million, and they're going to pay $80 million in luxury tax money. Like that is insane. There's teams that don't have an $80 million payroll.
Pittsburgh. What is Tampa's payroll?
Tampa's got to be like 30, 40, $50 million. I think Cleveland's down there, Baltimore. Like it's, and here he is. And I think this is the first time ever the Jays, as of right now, are in the first tier of the luxury tax.
Yeah.
So, which isn't, they're not going to be paying a heck of a lot because I think it's dollar for dollar or something like that. But yeah, these owners just love spending money, and it comes from a few teams, like Philadelphia. I read that the Dodgers this year are going to have a payroll of only $183 million. And we know that Syndergaard signed there, and he was offered more money, I think, from the Padres, I want to say. And he said no to it to take the 1-year deal with the Dodgers at $13 million. You know that I love Syndergaard.
Yeah,
I think
we all did.
he's a guy that if he bounces back, he's going to be a big get for the Dodgers.
And $13 million, the Blue Jays should have seriously looked at that. You didn't want to give 2 years to 25, but 1 year to
Yep.
Syndergaard. And
But
when
I'm
you're needing
guessing
arms,
he obviously likes it out on the West Coast, but he also likes something about the Dodgers, because if he was offered multi-year contract from somewhere else, it just means there's something with the Dodgers that he likes the way that their rotation, how their pitchers are there. So that might be one of the reasons he went there, to have a big year and then sign a 3 or 4 year contract after next year if he can do it. So, and that's what all these guys do. Like,
and
Stripling
Blue Jays
got
are
his.
in on Cueto now.
Well, I saw that too. Interesting, because the Jays have to make a couple moves, right? They have to get some guys off of the 40-man roster. I think they have to get 2 guys off, and I'm going to guess it's going to be Hatch, two of Hatch, K, or Thornton.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's talk about Merriweather being one, but I can't see them giving up on Merriweather, who throws 98 miles an hour, when you don't have a lot of guys who throw that type of velo in the organization. So I can see, I'm surprised Thornton
sign
still around.
Cueto, Marty, if they sign Cueto, Mitch White and Kikuchi,
Kikuchi, I would guess is they would look at moving him to the bullpen, or maybe they just decide, let's send him to AAA, and if that doesn't work out, we just eat up the contract. Right? If you're going to have him on the team anyways, he's not going to do anything but hurt your team. You might as well just eat the contract up and move on from
Cueto, like we just talked about with the Yankees. Blue Jays get Cueto. I think Blue Jays have the best rotation in baseball, let alone America.
Yeah, if Cueto can pitch like he had our year last year too. It was interesting. I was surfing around trying to find some Blue Jay stuff earlier today, and I came across a YouTube video. I don't know who this guy is, but he said that on his channel, the Jays are in talks with the White Sox. And the talk is, it's strictly the Jays want Liam Hendricks from the White Sox. And it would be what this person was saying. Most likely, Danny Jansen would be part of going the other way, because the White Sox need some catching. Now, if they got him, that'd be a nice piece to have. 8-9. That takes care of your bullpen right there. If you got Hendricks there, 8-9 is Romano and him. You got Garcia, you got Swanson, Bass, Pop. That becomes a very good bullpen.
Now, interesting. Very good. Why Chicago wouldn't want to take, Kirk instead of Jansen?
Jansen is a guy that Kirk he's coming along. Yes, he is, but he's not the best at calling games. He's not the best in his defensive side of games. Jansen's a little bit more mature. Jansen is showing that over a 3 or 4 year period he can hit home runs. Kirk's had the one big year, so that could be it too. Chicago's probably going to look to try and get out of that contract, because I think it's like $26 or $27 million left for 2 years for Hendricks. So if the Jays made some type of move like that, that bullpen then becomes one of the better bullpens around.
So here's the question, and I'm going to say this: do you put Hendricks as the 9, and do you put?
Well, you could, yeah. I think you leave Romano there for that time being, if that was the case. But how many times this year did Romano couldn't go on like a second or a third day, and they had to put Garcia back there, or Simber closed out a game? This way they have, we'll call it a Ward Hankey type situation.
Yeah.
Where if one guy can't go, the other guy can go. So that was interesting. I saw it on YouTube. I'm not saying it's happening, but it was interesting. I don't know who the guy was, but he brought that up to say. I still think
if they do that, and I'm going to say it may be a stupid answer here. If they do that, are we worried about the outfield position then?
Well, you might. You're still going to be down offensive numbers, but you still could be all right if your rotation, your pitching staff is giving up a lot less runs, right? And like I said, Merrifield is a guy that's, a pretty good hitter. And last year he had an off year. He now has he's signed for this year. And he has an option for, I think, like 15, 16, 17 million dollars for 2024. He's either going to want a new contract or them to pick up that contract. So you can bet that Merrifield isn't going to have an off year this year.
And
So if he
Merrifield
goes
could play
back
the
to,
outfield too, right? So it's
and
like,
yes, he could play outfield. But if they're saying Kiermaier is your guy in center field, I'm guessing Witt is going to be at second base, and that'll be his position. Now, if they don't trade one of your catchers, then you know that Kirk is the DH when he's not catching.
well, it's still. Can you believe this? We're about 6 weeks away from spring training.
Yep.
6
And
weeks.
there's still here's someone I'll say before we move off is I was thinking about this soon. You know how I said Chaffin and Rogers is who I'd like to
Yeah.
see the Jays go after. Another guy I would like to see, and he's had some I guess little tryouts where scouts have gone and watched him. He's up to like 97, 98 miles an hour, is Zach Britton.
Yes.
That would be a nice ad.
Imagine if, like we talked about, if you got Hendricks and you got Romano and you got Zach Britton in the 7th, like you shorten the game 6 innings.
That's exactly right. That's what you do. You don't have anything to worry about. But if you get a guy like Zach Britton in there and he's throwing like he did 3-4 years ago, he's just dominant versus left-handed hitters. Like they can't hit off him. If he's throwing like they report at 98 miles an hour, that's a guy I seriously look at. And you maybe give him a 2-year contract. Yes, he's 35 years old, I think it is. But that's a guy that I would look at then. I totally forgot about him until I heard someone mention it, that he had like a little tryout and scouts were out watching him. So there's still some guys out there that, Swanson still hasn't signed. Reports are Boston's looking at him now.
Yeah.
There's still, a month and a half till they start. They got a report.
6 weeks after.
Right. So it's coming fast. Like it really is. And we're going to be sitting there like, I can't wait. And it's such a long winter when there's no baseball around. For me, at least, it is.
Marty, can you believe we're almost at the end of 2022? God, I look good. Look at the haircut. God, I look good. All right. So
you got to take the filters off, Joseph.
All right. So, listen. All right. Don't start. All right. So as we close it out here, I want to thank everybody who appeared on the show here. Of course, Courtney Riddle, Renaissance Mama, Justin, of course, Taylor Woods, Andy McNamara, and of course Carmen and John Nelson and Marty Roberts there. And I got a few announcements here. I like to take this opportunity and say happy birthday to my cousin tomorrow. So he's watching. So happy birthday! Another good personal close friend of mine, Avi. Avi's birthday is on Saturday, and Aubrey Green. His birthday is on Sunday. Enjoy the World Cup, everybody, on Sunday morning. Also, just a little bit of some news here. Again, our deepest condolences to Shauna Brown there. Hopefully, I'll be trying to call her and everything like that. So, and also Anthony from Wave Global, his birthday's on Tuesday, so happy birthday. And another thing, this Sunday, for all the Jewish fans out there, is Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah to everybody out there. Marty Roberts is going to close it out by singing Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song. Go ahead.
Not this time. I sang happy birthday last time. I'm not singing this time.
Come on, you got to do it. It's
happy
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. I drink gin and tonica.
And that's all we're gonna say for Fired Up Network, because it's
crazy nights.
Have a happy Hanukkah. Stay tuned for more great programming here on the Fired Up Network. And Marty, listen, if you want to get me my Hanukkah present, all right, you got to get me some wine. All right, some Manischewitz wine.
You don't need any wine.
I don't need any wine because I
You don't
whine.
need wine.
All right. Thanks a lot, Marty. And again, condolences to Shauna Brown and her family.